Okay, so today is the 27th here, and the first thing I want to do is I want to address Lucy, because she's talking about going to go off and get herself a dehydrator and stuff, right? She's moving into a nice little place for herself, and she gets to start fresh. So she likes, to watch my videos because, I try and come with things from time to time with substance in terms of, you can dehydrate old Mitsu from 2016 and get away with it, and throw in some from 2020 and 2021 and a little bit of chickpea mixed soup from whatever you bought that, and dry it all up and grind it up, and you got some great and stuff like that, right? So anyway, so the first thing I'm going to start with, because I got a little order today, I got some pork here that was at $1.99 a pound, and it's fatty, right? And we know that at some point in the future, I want to make hot dogs with Andre, and I'm even thinking to buy a smoker. I want to make sausages with Andre. I bought this thick-ass book that's got like over 1,000 freaking recipes in it. So whatever, I got everything I need to start with, right? And I even went off and bought myself a high-end commercial freaking sausage stuffer without realizing what I was buying. It's still, the box is still sitting by my front door because this thing is fucking massive, but that will be another day, right? That will hopefully be in the spring or summertime, and that's, we'll see what happens. So in the meantime, because you can fill up the part where it holds the meat up to 11 pounds, okay? But at some point, Andre and I were going to just start with this little hand thing that I got. It was real cheap, right? To make hot dogs. So we're going to start making hot dogs probably in the next couple of months after this is all said and done, right? And then maybe come summer, spring, summer. We'll say summer towards maybe fall, right? I can clear out something from one of my other freezers and have some room to make either homemade sausages or a big batch of hot dogs, with or without nitrates, okay? I'm just saying. And that's when we bring out the big baby that can hold 11 pounds worth of meat, so you're not dickering around having to fill up the small one all the time. All right. So now I know Lucy doesn't eat meat, but she knows I do with my family. So first thing we're going to talk about is vegetables, being that she wants to get herself a dehydrator. And I want to talk about, and I'm not the only one that's saying this, people. I'm not sure if I'm going to put this part of the video first, because what's going to happen here is we're going to talk about this stuff, and then we're going to go right into the meat and grind up the meat in my electric grinder, and then I'm going to end up making these patties, and I'm freezing them, right? And then I've got this pork here that I bought for $1.99 a pound, which is pork shoulder roast, which is quite fatty, is what you need when you're making hot dogs or whatever, bologna or sausages. You need a 20% fat to 80% meat. So when you're shopping, Lucy, and you're doing this kind of stuff, you kind of need to snag it in. I know you don't eat meat, but like these, for example, zucchinis, okay, right? You need to snag them in when they're on sale. And if you see that if you do delivery, right? If you do a delivery, I know where you live is maybe, I don't know how well the delivery service is out there, but if you do a delivery, or you can get out and about, and you find them in really good shape, and this is zucchini, right? And they're in really good shape, and they're on sale, that's when you want to scoop it up and dehydrate. Very easy to dehydrate zucchini. All you do is wash it, cut off the ends, shred it, put it on your dehydrator, and it will be done like ASAP. Okay? Right? Move things around. If you're not really too sure, the dehydrator will come with directions. If not, if you buy a used one, just look online, right? You just move things around. You're halfway through it, you kind of have to move things around, lift it up, flip it around, and then spread it out again and continue with the drying. And then after you take it out of the trays, you put it in a big bowl, right? And then you just go in there and see if you can pull out 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of something that didn't dehydrate, because, it's holding moisture, right? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And then if you can vacuum seal, depending on what you're dehydrating, do that with, you know, your mason jars and a vacuum sealer with the proper attachments, right? Otherwise, just put them in a jar and put them in a cool, dark place. That's, you know. So for something like this, now I got 10 of these delivered today. All right? And they're all in good shape. So I'm topping off because I'm almost done, right? I did the salmon run. I don't know if you eat salmon, Lucy, but we do, right? Pink salmon. It's a much cheaper fish. You can, when you can find the cans on sale, you know, $2.97, so $3 a can, right? On sale at Walmart. What is it, Gold Seal or Cloverleaf or something? Anyway, Andre, what did I say? I already talked to you about that before I came in here.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Because it just breaks my train of thought, and I'm tired. And you're right, Lucy, I'm extremely tired. We already know I don't sleep very well. We already know that my eyes are, like, really stressing me out. I mean, you can see it. Like, you know, I'm looking all buggy-eyed, right? You know, like, you know, right, I put the eye drops in, my eyes are dry, the house is dry. You know, I'm overworking, I'm looking on the computer, and, you know, just whatever. But it is what it is. Okay, so I did the pink salmon run. I don't have to buy pink salmon. Because if you go into sockeye salmon, you're looking at double the money per can. So, as the pink salmon was coming in on sale, I was stocking up. And don't forget, I already have salmon from back in the day with jars sitting on them. But I walked you through it with the tuna, okay? I'd put it at 99%. 99%. An old can of salmon will be just as good as that old can from 2014 tuna that I opened up here and ate, basically. And then my cat jumped up and fucking ate the rest. Okay? That's how good that tuna was from 2014. And we're in 2024. Okay? So, 10-year-old tuna in a can held up for a long time. And it's the same thing with the salmons. Okay? Providing that you store them, you know, in a cool, dark place, lower cupboard, closer to the floor, in the back. You can stack and pack them with something on top. If you get into a little bit of, like, canning food in a pressure canner or a water bath, you've seen what I've done. I've stacked my cans, put my jar on top, push it way to the back on the bottom shelf or wherever, even on this, right? You'll be good to go. So anyway, I knew that I wasn't going to be buying, I knew I was going to buy at some point sockeye red salmon. Because it's a different kind of salmon completely, right? But I went with the cheaper brand in terms of pink salmon just to get me that bulk, okay? I got enough salmon to last me for a long time. Okay? But I don't have enough red sockeye salmon. And I do want to get into sushi making. So ideally, right, if you're looking for taste, you want the red sockeye salmon for sushi. So every now and then I buy extra of these. But I'm like, right now, like, I don't need this. I don't need that. I don't need this. I sure in the hell don't need that. Andre asked me today, because I ordered sockeye salmon in a can. 17 cans of red sockeye salmon. 17 cans, I think, came in at $100. Okay, I will show you on my next video because it gets delivered tomorrow. And I got some today, so I'll walk you through that. And the reason I bought it, in part, is because I just want to get it off my chest and be done with it and put it away. Before I eat those ones, though, I'd get into these cupboards and I'd eat the older ones from probably 2014. I'm just saying, right? Where those ones that I'm buying today, assuming that the metal, the can itself, is stable. Okay? Because that's what we're battling here now, Lucy. We're battling unstable cans that are, you know, you can make music with them. You can freaking squeeze them. They're like, it's almost like a freaking Mylar, right? You know? Right? So, you gotta, you know, pay attention to these things. Try and avoid these pull tabs and stuff, right? If you can, right? Anyway, and I'll do that run one more time because through Canadian Superstore, I don't know if you have Canadian Superstore where you live, but out here they were doing the optimum points. So if you spent $15, it's $6 a can, $5.99 a can. All right? So that's what, 6, 12, 6, 12. Oh my God. Another $6 is what, $18? Either or. I bought, right? So you get 5,000 points for every $15 you spend on this salmon. And then as you accumulate your points, you know, the next time you do an order, you can take off $60, $70 off your order. And sometimes that's really nice. So in my mind, you know, with that said, I saved a bit of money on the canned salmon, even though it wasn't on sale, because I can reimburse, I can use my optimum points at a later date. So right now I'm in the mode of accumulating optimum points because I already had a whole bunch. I used them on other orders, brought them down. Now I'm bringing them back up. But I'm only buying things that I really, really want. And sockeye salmon is one of them. Because when I was buying the pink salmon, I knew that once I felt satisfied with the amount that I wanted in terms of quote-unquote pink salmon in a can, right? It was just a matter of time before I'd hit up the red sockeye salmon, because that is the better salmon. It tastes better, and from what I can see on the nutrient list, they listed a whole lot more nutrients than what was in the pink salmon. So which entices me even more to buy a few more cans. So I'm going to do one more run of these cans next month, and then that's another thing I just won't need. I just won't need it. But I got enough for anything I want to do with it in terms of sushi making on a regular basis or whatever. Right? You've got the pink salmon for sandwiches and making bean burgers and mixing in the pink salmon for those that eat the fish, right? And then, you know, you've got the red sockeye salmon for the sushi and maybe sprinkle on top of a salad. You know, you can mix it, right? You get a little more versatility. Now, you would think salmon and salmon, doesn't matter what kind of salmon, would have all the same nutrients, but when you look at the can, the red sockeye has a whole lot of other nutrients listed where the pink salmon doesn't. So I don't know about that. Okay, so that's how you're going to have to shop, Lucy. It's going to take a little while to get your stash going, right? You know what I'm saying? But in the end, it does. It pays off, and you're starting fresh. So, you know, you've been watching my videos long enough to, like, okay, this is what I like, this is what I want, this is what I need to do, this is where I'm going to put it, this is how I'm going to do it. I know what to do because, you know, it went into your short-term memory through the hippocampus, and then you went to sleep, and it got logged into your long-term memory. So it's all going to come back to you just, like, naturally, right? Because a lot of it you already know, right? I'm just saying. So, I bought, remember I said on the, I think the last video that I uploaded, I bought zucchini. Now this is another reason why you want to start dehydrating some things, Lucy, seriously, because all over the continent, it's not just isolated to one Walmart or one store or whatever. This is a continental wide problem, just like these inferior cans that we're coming into when it comes to, national music. Everybody squeeze your can all at one time. It's better than birds cheeping. Cheep, 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 cheep. Right? So, it's the same thing with the vegetables and the fruit supply. For whatever reason, people are commenting left, right, and center, right across the continent, from state to state, from province to province, that vegetables and fruit are spoiling faster when they bring them home. And this is true because every now and then I come into contact with it myself, because I buy in bulk, Lucy, right? So initially I bought these zucchini, and I already mentioned it, like fuck, man. I didn't buy them to eat them. I bought them to dehydrate them. And normally Walmart's been pretty good to me, I did all the broccoli. I was getting 10 bunches of broccoli because they have their sales, right? So you got to catch those sales, right? So 10, I did 10 bundles of broccoli. I'd get them in the dehydrator. I'd go back the next day. I'd put in another order, get another 10 more bunches of broccoli, right? I knew that within 2 days I could get them in the dehydrator, right? And then I'd do another 10 more. I don't have to worry about, but you have to kind of blanch broccoli just for 30, actually you don't even have to blanch. I wouldn't bring it to a boil. All you have to do with broccoli, this is for Lucy, all you have to do with broccoli, Lucy, is get your water boiling, chop your broccoli into chunks, right? Put it into the water, and as soon as you put it into the water, you basically need to just bring it out, okay? Don't boil it, because it cooks up so fast. You don't want to cook it, right? You just want to sear it, okay? And what you want to do is, when your water is boiling, put in a half a teaspoon or maybe a teaspoon of baking soda. And then what it does is it locks in the color, right? And really it comes out, a vibrant green, very dark, vibrant green. But if you leave it in, because you'll read, you need to blanch broccoli for 30 seconds. Normally when you put something into water to blanch, they want you to bring it to a boil it for 30 seconds, then take it out. Oh, no, don't do that. You're going to ruin your broccoli. Trust me, I've done enough of it. All you need to do is have your water boiling with the freaking, what is that called, baking soda in it. And then when you're ready, throw your broccoli in there, and almost as fast as you throw it in there, start digging down to the bottom and pulling out the ones from the bottom, because you'll have some floating on top. So those on top can drop, and then that's it. You're done. And then you can chop them up into smaller pieces, but you have to run to the sink and run them under cold water and cool them off as fast as you can. I don't use ice, I just use cold water. Flip them around, right, whatever, in a colander, and then, and then after that, you just cut them into the size that you basically want, fair size, and it dries up so fast, so nice. And if you're short on space, you can grind it a little up more so that you can just use that crunchy powder mix for like a broccoli soup, right? I left mine in chunks this time around because, I just felt, for me, putting it in, these big ass jars full of broccoli was just more practical for me, right? But for you, with limited space, considering maybe where you're living, it might be more practical to crunch them up and make them small little bits and pieces with maybe more powder after the fact, and then you'll get it more condensed, and then you can use that for broccoli soups and that kind of thing. And of course, have yourself a container where they're larger, right? You're going to have to do stuff like that, because otherwise you're going to order something and your food is going to come in looking like this. And this is a systemic problem, like those freaking inferior cans right across the continent, okay? You don't know when it's coming. One time I bought cucumbers, the ones that I fermented, had that fire, had to freaking can them in a separate brine. Those ones came in looking like this. I threw out half of them. I don't have my glasses here. I threw out half of them because they were already coming in freaking moldy. Like, what the hell? You know, all soggy and shit. Like, look at this. When I pulled them out of the bag, I'm like, what the hell? Since when does Walmart do this? Canadian Superstore did it to me one time with the cucumbers. That's why I ended up fermenting the ones that I could salvage. The rest of them went into the garbage. Huh? Well, obviously, I'm not going to use that to dehydrate with, okay? But if they come in looking like this, nice and cold, nice and fresh, go back and reorder enough to dehydrate them to where you get enough, where you feel satisfied. Because not only are our vegetables and fruit coming in freaking compromised, look at this. I mean, that's ready for the blood compost. The rabbits won't even eat it. They don't like zucchini. But they're also disappearing off the shelves very, very quickly. It's a hit and miss. Yeah, it's a hit and freaking miss. When I was doing the broccoli run, oh, I don't know. I was doing 10 bundles at a time, bag after bag after bag after bag. I still got broccoli sitting in a plastic bag that still needs to go into a jar. And I've got a couple, 2-3 jars in my bedroom because I plan on making a lot of broccoli soup and that kind of shit, right? I don't want to be stressing out, okay? And I don't want to be paying exorbitant prices for broccoli when I want broccoli. Once in a while, yeah, I'll buy something fresh, but it's not a priority, right? I bought these 2 days ago online. They came in with their sale on Thursday. Today is Saturday. It got delivered today because I couldn't get it delivered on... Okay, I put the order in on Thursday. I tried to order something else after it already went through because they allow you to do that. But it kicked out my order, so my order got canceled yesterday. So by the time I figured that out, I had to reorder. So I reordered yesterday 10 more of these because the first order didn't come in because they came on sale on Thursday. So I ordered 10, but I couldn't get it delivered yesterday. I had to get it delivered today. I'm showing you how fast this shit disappears depending on what it is, right? It's a hit and miss. And this is why you do want to dehydrate. Especially where you live, because you don't know, right? It's a longer drive to get things there on the truck, right? And so anyway, Andre, shut up! Anyway, I settled for 10 just to see what state they would come in, although I feel pretty confident with Canadian Superstore because 99% of their stuff is good, except for those stupid cucumbers that they gave me that one time, right? Like, you've seen the oranges, and you'll see the oranges and all this other stuff, right? They're coming in pretty good, right? So, I'm like, okay, well, you know, for all the bullshit that I put up with, well, why do you need this? And I'm like, fuck it, just keep doing you, right? And finish up what you want to do, and then so that you can get on to the next mission, whatever that mission is, right? Other things I want to do besides this stuff, right? And so I decided to go and top off, because my first order, I ordered the sockeye salmon, but that order got canceled, right? So that really bugged me. So I placed the order again, and I ordered 10 of these. And I knew that if they came in looking good, I'd want at least 10 more or 20 more to dehydrate, because they dehydrate really quick and they're great. You don't have to blanch these. You just wash them, cut the ends, shred them, and you just dehydrate them, and they'll sit in a jar for years, right? Really, they will. Obviously, if you can vacuum seal, it helps, right? But even then, as long as it's in a cool, dark place, it will last for a long time. It's not a real hardy it's not a real hardy vegetable that can really hold up to the test of time, but for like zucchini breads and sprinkling it into soups, or like when Andre and I, we make our noodles, and you know, you want to throw in a little vegetable, you can they spring back really fast when they dehydrate, right? And they're actually quite good. This is about the size that you want, right? I suppose you could go a little bit bigger. I wouldn't recommend doing them in slices unless, of course, you're looking for aesthetics and that's what you want. But you'll get more in a jar if you shred them. You can either shred them this size or you can shred them this size. I prefer this size, right? I don't like them in slices. I've done them in slices. I probably still have some around the house from back in 2011 in a slice situation, but I'd probably chuck those ones out, right? Because again, it's not something that really holds up very well over a long period of time. But then it also depends on the container too, right? Anyway, so I went today, because there's other things I'm going to show you, right? I placed an order for more sockeye salmon. I think I bought 6 cans with this order. This order, I'll show you what I bought for $91, okay? 6 cans of sockeye salmon, but keep in mind, for every $15 I spend on that sockeye salmon, I get 5,000 PC points that I can apply to a future order to reduce my cost, right? So that was the incentive for me, right? Plus, I wanted the sockeye anyway. I always knew that would be my finale, the end of my prep, right? And of course, these came in. I was waiting for these before I push send, right, and pay. I wanted to see what they came in looking like compared to that, right? I'm not putting down Walmart, but like, what the fuck? I phoned them up. I said, well, you know, what's the matter with you guys? Since when do you do this? You know, I did tons of broccoli, tons of cabbage, tons of freaking cauliflower. You know, how many green onions did I go through? And red onions, you know, bags and bags and bags of red onions. And now all of a sudden, this is what you're giving me? Like, come on. Oh, I'm sorry, you know, it won't happen again. Well, yeah, for as much as you say it won't happen again, there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees. So when they came in looking like this from PC, I said, damn, I'm getting 10 more. Because I just want to get this shit over with. It's nothing for me. It will take me not less than an hour to wash these and shred them and get them in the freaking dehydrate them for a day. And I'm done because I've already got a big-ass pickle jar full. I just want twice as much. And then I'm good. I'm good for a long time, right? And yeah, I do plan on making, like, zucchini breads and those kind of things, right? Plus, no, I don't have these because I opened up a container of shredded zucchini that had been sitting in that cupboard there for years in a container that I don't think was conducive for it, and I ended up chucking them out. So, you know, try and use them up within a few years anyway, if you can, right? How long they actually last for compared to other things, I don't really know. But yeah, that's when you want to go back, Lucy, and buy them. Or if you're out and about shopping and you actually find them in the grocery store and you can see for yourself that they're good and they're on sale, then, you know, scoop up like 20 of them. Put them in your fridge and get on it tomorrow, the next day, right? If you can't do it the next day, don't beat yourself up. Get on it the day after and get them in the dehydrator, and you will thank yourself for it. Now, I highly recommend, Lucy, that you buy yourself, seriously, okay? You buy yourself a small apartment size freezer. Not a big one. You know, those little ones. I don't know. Not a don't buy a damn dandy or whatever that one's called. Don't buy it from you can buy them on freaking Facebook, on Facebook Market, and you can get a nice little apartment size freezer. Just make sure before you buy, you go see it and you smell it and there's no fish smells in it and that kind of thing, right? Like, you know, cheap, right? And get yourself an apartment size little deep freeze. You will thank yourself for that. You really, really will. Because if you think you can dehydrate tomatoes and keep them for any length of time, I'm warning you now. It's like pineapple. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. If you're going to wanting to save tomatoes in any kind of capacity, take my advice. You can buy them, and that's another thing. That's another thing. Speaking of fucking tomatoes, look at this. Look at this. That zucchini was purchased at the same time the tomato was. Can you believe this? This is what I mean. I'm not the only person that is experiencing this problem. Okay? Like, I'm choked. I phoned them up the next day or whatever it was about the zucchini, not realizing that, and I've had these tomatoes before and I've never had this problem. They were here in a bag. I went to open the bag, I think yesterday or day before, whatever, knowing I was going to do a video but thinking they were fine. Started to see this shit and fucking left it there so I could show you, basically. Because when tomatoes start doing like this, I know you can cut it and you can still eat that part of it, whether cooked or uncooked. But honestly, I don't like it. You know? I don't want... Maybe I might cut it that way and try and fry it up with something. But that's assuming... And I always taste it. If I don't like the way the tomato tastes... Because a lot of them are coming in tasting bland these days too, right, people? They don't even taste like freaking tomatoes anymore. And, like, they're all like that. Why? So, do I phone up Walmart and complain about the tomatoes? Fuck that shit. Normally, I don't have that problem. But... clearly, something's going on. Not only did the zucchinis come in compromised, but so did the tomatoes. So in a situation like that, Lucy, because we can't guarantee that we're going to have... I told Andre, we never had these problems before, Andre. You're too young to know. Lucy and I would know, though. Oh, yeah, we know. It wasn't like that before, people. And a lot of people know that. Maybe this young, dumb generation thinks otherwise, but us older generation, feeding our families, we know it's never been like this. And it's happening more and more, okay? So, my advice when it comes to looking after tomatoes long-term, storing them for any length of time, you have two methods. You can buy them fresh if you can't grow them. You can buy your favorite tomato that you like, that you know tastes good. You can take the tomato, put it on a plate or a container or whole, pop it in the freezer, let it freeze, and then put it in a bag. And I will guarantee you, those tomatoes will sit for years and years and years and years. And when you're ready to use them for cooking, oh my God, they're so good. Just rinse off the ice crystals. That's all you have to freaking do. And you're good to go. Or you can water bath them with a little bit of lemon juice because their acidities have been compromised through genetic modifying this or hybrid that or whatever. So anytime you're canning tomatoes, you always have to use bottled lemon juice, a teaspoon or a tablespoon or whatever it is. Read up on it, get the recipe, and put it at the bottom of, and water bath, and oh man, they'll sit. I'm telling you, they'll sit for years and years and years and years. Your weapon of the enemy of the home canned tomato is rust on your lid. That's it. That's all you have to worry about. Other than that, your tomatoes will sit for years in a jar, and it won't eat through the can. If you don't want a water bath, then you can freeze them whole. And they'll sit in your apartment-sized freezer in a bag for years and years and years and years and years if you don't get to them right away. But if you dehydrate them, oh, don't waste your time. Within a year or two, they'll turn black and you'll be like, well, can I eat that? I don't know. I don't see why I couldn't. It's just oxidization. Maybe I should go look online and see if I can find some information about that. But ain't nobody talking on that subject. No, it's all mum. Same thing if you buy them in oil. You know how you go to the grocery store and you find sun-dried tomatoes preserved in a jar in oil? I had a jar down there for years and years and years and years. It didn't look anything like my canned tomatoes. For crying out loud! I can't see this because I don't have my glasses. Look how red that is. Just give me a second. I have to grind meat here soon. But I just want to get this, because these videos are like this are coming to an end pretty soon. Because I've done so many of them, there's not much I need to do anymore, right? But this one here, other than go into my canning goods and open up my jars and show people, like, this is bad, this is good. This was from 2014. This was 2016. Why did this one go bad? Why did this one not? It usually has something to do with rust. Because our young generation they don't value, I'm not saying all, but many, because when I had kids, the internet was kind of coming on the scene. And everybody became a internet Rambo. We know all about internet Rambos. Well, if adults can become internet Rambos and think they know freaking everything, then we know that the kids jumped on that bandwagon and convinced themselves that they knew everything. And if they didn't, all they had to do was Google and read a few lines and get the information. Right? Which made them right. I'm not the first parents to battle the internet with kids having their own opinion. Okay? That's the first thing. So through that process, the things that the parents know, the older one generation, like my generation, becomes insignificant because it doesn't line up with our kids' values in terms of commercialism, easy to go to the grocery store and buy what you need when you need it, or whatever, or all it takes is one person to say, well, Grandma's stash in the basement in the cellar with her home canned goods is garbage because it was canned 15 years ago, it was canned 10 years ago, it was canned 20 years ago, even though it looks perfectly fucking fine, must be spoiled because somebody over there on the internet said so. Whereas I show you that's untrue. Not only do I tell you, because I know you won't listen to me for some of you knuckleheads, because you're convinced that you're a fucking internet Rambo that knows everything in the here and now. So therefore that gives you a right to mock me, cut me down, accusing me of this, whatever, and be wasteful. With or without an ulterior motive. Okay? I'm just saying. Whereas I walk you through it and I show you. Some things obviously you don't want to eat. Why? Because the lid is compromised. Some things you have to boil. Why? Because even if you pressure canned it, doesn't matter what you pressure canned, at some point, if it's a low acid food, it has the potential. Doesn't mean it does, it just means it has the potential to have botulism. So therefore, do the right thing. Boil it for your 10 minutes. I'll explain to you how to do it. If you come across a jar that's compromised, that's a low acid food. I already explained to you. Open it up, depending on what it is and how bad it is. You're either going to get 2 pots or 1 pot. And you're going to boil it before you throw it out. Right? And you're going to boil the jar and the lid and everything in a separate pot before you clean it. When I opened up the beans, as a matter of fact, I should just put this right behind, because I worked on the video with the fruit here, which I need to get into here in a second, show you. And then I got a detour because of what happened with TeaSha and just our conversation. And now I'm picking up with this and I'm finishing, right? So I'm going to take what I did with the fruit, which we're going to talk about in a minute, okay, before I go on to meat, right? But I wanted to talk about this stuff first, right? Because, you know, I know Lucy's excited to you know, dehydrate, but when your food's coming in looking like this, I mean, who would want to dehydrate that? Nobody. That's discouraging, right? And why would you want to dehydrate tomatoes thinking you're good for a few years on tomatoes when you go back a year, year and a half, 2 years later, and you find out that they all turn black and you don't know if you can eat them or not because ain't nobody talking about it? When you can just simply throw them in your freezer and they'll sit in your freaking freezer in a bag for years and years and years and years and years. And when you're ready to use them, just rinse them off and pop them into your pot and they're good to go. Or you can can them and they'll sit in a fucking jar, that is, with an uncompromised lid for 15, 20 years and they'll still be good. Well, you got the young people running around calling you an idiot, saying you don't know what the hell you're talking about because they're freaking internet rambos who think they know everything. And even though they're your kids, they still don't respect you because they're knuckleheads. They don't want to learn. They got to learn the hard way. Unless, of course, it's on Google. And, of course, Google ain't going to tell you the truth because they want you out there buying their inferior cans. If you think the tomato ate the can, the older cans, because it's just a matter of time before the acid eats through the can, with the older cans, what do you think they're going to do with the newer cans when you can bloody well squeeze them? Won't take long. When was this done? I'm trying to encourage Lucy to at least water bath. You can water bath fruit and you can water bath tomatoes. If you're unsure about pressure canning, because it scares you if you haven't done it, just have one of your kids come over and do it together, and then it won't be long before you guys get into a routine and top off here, top off there, as you find things on sale. Because some things, like any meats, vegetables, that fish, it all has to be pressure canned. This was done in 2017. Okay? From what I can see, not that I can see anything, but underneath the lid appears good. 2017, red as red can be. If you had tomatoes in oil for whatever strange reason, they do. They turn black. I don't know why. But if you have canned tomatoes in a jar, oh, I got canned tomatoes from 2014 and 15 that are still red, that are perfectly fine. The only problem would be compromised lid. That would be it. So, avoid this stuff if you can. Once in a while, it's nice to buy for convenience to have it on hand. But, just don't dehydrate them. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money, and don't waste your time. It's not worth it. Plus, you know how to grow things. So you can always set up a little grow room and have your therapy plants in there where you live now, okay? You've seen my little grow room. It doesn't take much of an effort and not much of an investment. 1 or 2 little tomato plants that grow nice and big and talk to you. Trust me, you'll get a lot of little tomatoes that you can throw in the freezer and you're good to go, right? All right, so now that that's out of the way, that's my little pep talk to Lucy. So now, because I'm trying to build in something here for Andre and myself and Amari, where fruit is affordable and it's basically always on hand, with a selection of fruit to either blend into ice cream or blend into coconut cream ice cream, or to blend into, I suppose, jellos if you wanted it, to blend into smoothies or some sort of a drink, right? This is the way I'm doing it, right? And now these are frozen. They've been sitting here for a little while. I did buy another pack of lemons and another bag of oranges to top off this container, right? Now, ideally you want to freeze these things separately, but I don't have time. So I just, you can see, stacked and packed them. But this has been sitting out for the duration of this video. So that's all it took, was to soften it up a little bit, right? Still frozen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash my hands, and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to bust it all up as best as I can. And then I'm going to put it back into the fridge, and then they'll be separated. Otherwise, you have to do that, put them on a sheet, freeze them individually, then throw them in the container. Whereas this way, you know, if they come out really hard, because you don't have to dig, right? I got to make it easy, right? So just, you know, go in there and take a knife and just break it up a little bit, and then quickly throw it back into the freezer, right? Now I'm going to do this with, now bananas, I'm going to do different, okay? I am going to freeze bananas in slices, and then I'm going to have them in their own container, right? I ordered today, right? 2 bags of these coming in on sale. This is avocado. So I will freeze those probably separately, but they say to dip it in lemon juice or something. So whether I cut them in half and then just put lemon juice on them and then wrap them up and then or something, or whether I take them out, and I don't know yet. I just know that I'm going to have this handy too. That's an avocado, right? Their kiwi, as fast as they had it on sale, disappeared. I tried to order kiwi that was on sale, but they're gone. People are this shit. Not only are the vegetables coming in compromised, where some of them are spoiling as fast as they're just spoiling at the door. You get them spoiled. Well, not spoiled, but on the verge of spoiling, right? Or you get them, they sit on your counter for a day or two, you know, like tomatoes, and look what happened. Like, to hell with that. Right? Or they just run out really fast because their orders are small, depending on what it is. So if you like sweet potato, Lucy, you've seen me do enough sweet potato to know what to do now. And get yourself a couple of jars powdered up, or just small. It will go a long way. And because it's high in sugar, it will last a long time. Okay? So yeah, I'm gonna freeze avocado slices, or some kind of avocado something. I'm gonna do banana slices. I got some strawberries. The brand I got I didn't like, so I bought another 2 different bags and make a container of just frozen strawberries, right? And then at some point in the future, I'll do kiwi. I ordered another bag of carrots, right? And I'm going to take the time, because they're good right now. The carrots are coming in really nice. So I'm going to take the time to shred them, this size. I'll bag them up in just little bags. And I'm going to put them in a container like this or something, just something simple, right? So that when, you know, we start doing whatever we're doing when it comes to drinks and shit, you know, I got this blender up here, right? So now, you know, I've gotten some carrots in there, fresh carrots, even though they've been frozen. At least Andre's drinking carrots, right? Just saying. I don't remember what's in here. I already forgot. Oh yeah, ice. I brought out ice. See? make yourself some ice. You see, this is where, Lucy, you're going to need that little apartment-sized freezer. Right? You're a vegetarian. Okay? Right? So make your little ice cube trays and put them in a nice little container. And buy your stuff on sale as it's coming in. And right? And keep what you need in your little apartment-sized freezer or whatever you got. And like in terms of the freezer part, because they're not very big, right? Unless you're willing to buy a regular size fridge, and even then it's a small. So you need a little apartment size freezer.
Yeah, you're cheating.
And
there's no way.
okay, so now that I've talked about that, so I'm going to bring out what I bought for $91, and we'll talk about that briefly. And then tomorrow you'll see, maybe on the, not tomorrow, but on the next video, I'll make an effort to try and show you what I bought for $151. But after I'm done with that, you know, there's not a pressing need to get the sockeye salmon because I'll have quite a few cans. Although I'll probably at some point in the future scoop up on another 12 more cans anyway, but that's later. That's months, a month or two down the line, when I'm out and about maybe doing something. So hold on a second. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is cut down on wastage. Lemons are not something that we normally eat, and I'm always so busy, so you know, I end up chopping them up into little pieces and throw them in the compost. So before that happens, you know, I want to improve my diet, you know, even if it's a cup of tea with a lemon slice, right? Or whatever, right? So all I did was, it was frozen solid, couldn't really do much. Did the half an hour video, yap, 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 yap. It sat out, and then after I turned off the camera, I just went in there and pulled everything out and just started breaking it up. And because it's like half frozen, it broke up really nice. So chances of it getting real hard, because when when you're going to want to use it, you want to be able just to grab what you need within reason. You know, I have a growing boy that, I don't want to say takes everything for granted, but if he could eat all the oranges in 2 days in his smoothie, he would. And it ain't happening because it's expensive. And of course, I bought again because I'm going to do the rinds, right? So I'm going to put this now into the freezer. Everything's moving around. Now I plan on doing this one more time. It's just, I got, you know, there's... I'll be going into my other freezers, and my son will say, "What are you doing?" And I'll be like, "Well, I'm canning meat." He'll go, "You told me you weren't going to can no more." I'll be, "Yeah, but I need the room in the fucking, what is that called, freezer, so I'm going to take out the meat, and I'm going to can the meat and put it someplace else, and then I'll have room, and as I'm working on that, I'll make some extra room for you, so shut the fuck up." Oh. I'm just saying. Because there's going to be things in here after I'm done. I don't want in there because it won't leave me no room for my ice cream thing that I need to make ice cream with. Because I'm filling up with shit like this, right? And now we've got banana peels or banana slices coming. We've got avocado slices coming. I need a container of strawberries, right? I'm buying frozen at this point. Maybe next summer I'll buy them from the farms, which are even better. And I've got a bag of blueberries in there. So, you know, each container will have just right what's on it, right? Just saying. And carrots, shredded carrots. And then, you know, I can even sprinkle in fresh spinach and stuff like that in, so that when he, you know, he grabs a bit of this, a bit of that, a can of pineapple, whatever. Because some things are going to be cans, not all frozen fruit. And definitely not fresh fruit all the time in terms of, like... Didn't I just order like 3 days ago, Andre? Like, why do I have to order more fruit? I'm just saying. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what I bought for $91, and now you're going to understand why I do what I do. Okay? So we got the wild sockeye... Jeez. The wild sockeye salmon... at $5.99 a can, but for every $15 you spend on it, you get 5,000 PC points, which helps to reduce a future bill in terms of total cost, because you get to redeem them, right? Now, the can itself, if you notice, that was the first thing that attracted me. So you can still find sockeye salmon and even pink salmon in these cans, although watch with the pink salmon because they're starting to bring in the pull tabs. So the more you can go with this is better. But we know that the can itself is inferior compared to what it was, we'll just put it at 5 years ago and before that, right? So this order that I bought coming now, that's coming, I bought 7 cans, okay, at this point. I got another, I think, 9 more of Gold Seal brand, and then I got Cloverleaf, 5 of them, with no PC points, because their list of nutrients was really condensed. And I'm like, well, why are they not listing the nutrients on this compared to the other red sockeye salmon? So when that comes, we'll discuss that then. All right, so we got 7 cans of wild sockeye salmon, only because I don't need to buy salmon other than what I don't have. Andre says, do we need it? I said, well, yeah, because this is a salmon that is better quality, right? It has more nutrients than your average salmon, and it's good for sushi. That's the first thing. You want sushi, right, Andre? Yeah, well, this is what you want to use. Okay, whatever. We got another bag. Oh, no, this is a bag of, I guess, Andre, did oranges not come in, or did I just buy? There should be a bag of oranges. Well, where are they? I don't see them. Can you go get them? Okay, this time I bought a bag of grapefruit. Can you get them for me? Hold on a minute. All right. Okay, so we know we got the 10 zucchini. Oh my God.
What's the problem?
Can't see. Okay, so we know I got the zucchini on sale. Where is it? Oh, but this bill is ripped up.
Yeah, that's why I said it ripped.
That's okay. So the salmon, the 7 cans of salmon, cost me $41.93. But that's quality canned salmon for red sockeye, okay? And I bought another, I guess you could say $100 more or so. That's going to come tomorrow. And then at some point in the future, I'll do one more run, and then I'll be like, I don't need it. That's just another thing I don't need. I just don't need it. Right? The lemons came in at that. They're 4 pounds. They're imperfect lemons. It's a good deal. I highly recommend it if you can get in touch with Canadian Superstore. Right? I already did. You seen that? It went in the freezer, right? And I kept the peels this time. I kept the peels this time. So I won't do the whole bag, but I'll do at least half of the bag to maybe 3/4 of the bag. And I'll freeze them, and I'll take the peels, I'll add them with that, and then we're going to turn them into lemon candy peel, okay? And if you store them in a cooler place, in a sealed container, in a dark area, I'm telling you, they'll last for years. This one's been sitting here for I don't even know how many freaking years, and you've seen me eat them. Only my house up here gets really, 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 really hot. So I think they started melting, because when I came in, it was kind of like, no, I didn't want to eat that one, right? Because it wasn't gummy like a gummy bear. You want it like a gummy bear, right? Not going into Jello. That one was kind of turning into Jello because we bake up here like you don't even know. So if you're going to store it for any length of time, lower down in a cupboard, further to the back, closer to the floor, preferably towards the north wall with a tight sealed container. Do not put an oxygen absorber in it though, okay? Don't do that. And they'll last for a long time. Because not only are you dealing with the acid, but you've got the sugar which preserves it, okay? And then you can use that whether to nibble on, put it into your tea, or you can chop them up into little pieces and put them in with your trail mix, or you can chop them up into little pieces and you can put them in like date bars or some kind of, you know, something like that. Or you can take a few little slices, chop them up and throw them into your smoothie. I'm just saying. All right? So don't, because I did not get a lot for $91, right? And I don't want to say I even got less for $151 tomorrow when I get it. But I want to show you that too. And so I understand what people are going through. It's just I'm at a point in my life where, you know, even if I was to buy fruit, which I will buy from time to time, fresh fruit, I'm even making backup on that in terms of, you know, I don't know how fast we'll go through this stuff. It depends how I divvy it out, because I've got the canned mango pulp, I've got the canned mango in a can, I've got the fruit cocktails in a can, I've got the peaches in a can, I've got the pineapples in a can, and this is where my son needs to understand that at some point in the near future, I'm going to have to take all these fucking jars that I got here and can up this fruit so they don't become tinny tasting or eat through the can because of the acid. Because I can't afford to go out and spend, I don't know, maybe $200, $100 a week? No, not even $100 a week. I buy some grapes, and I buy 2 pounds of grapes, a little teeny weeny box of freaking strawberries that don't even taste that great, and it was like $19. And it was gone like that day. As if I can afford that. No. When I find grapes on sale, that's when I'll buy a whole bunch, and I'll find a way to freeze them so they can be incorporated into the diet on a more regular basis where it's affordable, whether in Jell-O, whether through smoothies, whether making juice and then taking the fiber after the fact and putting it into your muffins, waste not, want not, right? Because what people are facing, it never was like this for us. I mean, sure, it was always hard, especially when you had like 3 or 4 or 5 kids. You know, that's no feat. That's not easy as a parent, trying to keep everybody fed over the years. But nowadays, oh man, I don't know. All right, so we've got the lemon, and then, of course, lemon is the last on the list. So that lemon will last a long time, unless, of course, maybe I want to build up my immune system after it's all said and done and start drinking tea with lemon, or add the lemon somehow more with Amari's drinks, not the ones that I give him from the supplement, but when I get into making him, quote-unquote, his super drinks, or just maybe smoothies, right? Because that's a great way to bring up the immune system. Plus, we've got the lemon peels to do things with. The candy lemon peels. So the first 4 pounds I bought was $8. Second time around, they had them on sale for $7. So, okay, so $7 for that. $42 for 7 cans of freaking sockeye salmon. But I get my optimum points, so that's pretty good. I like that when you know, sometimes it's nice to shop and your shop is $150 and they take $70 off your bill. Wow. I bought a whole bunch of shit. My bill came to $35. I was like, damn, that's great. So now I want to build up my points, right? So anyway, okay. All right. And what else we got here? Zucchini, green zucchini, 10 of them. I'm completely impressed with the quality of them. So much so that I tried to order 10 more today, even though I got these today, and they're saying they're out of stock. That's how fast they ran out of this zucchini on sale from Thursday. Thursday, Friday, today is Saturday. I tried to place an order today and they didn't have any left. This is why, Lucy, dehydrate some zucchini for yourself. You don't have to blanch it. Really easy peasy. And if you put it in a nice tight container, like I said, it will last a fairly long time. That's if you like zucchini. Alright, and then we've got, okay, so, and then I bought the pork. Now, Lucy doesn't eat meat, but for those that do, it was $1.99 a pound. As if I want to be dealing with some meat, because after I'm done this and put this off the counter, I'm going to pull out meat that's been in my fridge for about 2-3 days now that I need to grind up and make some burgers with so I can get on with my freaking lasagna. It all started with lasagna. I've got these, oh my God, old boxes of lasagna that were sitting in my pantry for eons. And I just want to use them up. And the last time I tried to do it, it didn't work because my fridge broke. Now I said, okay, I'm going to do it again, but I don't want hamburger. I'm going to grind my own meat. But I have to have a little bit of fatty meat with it. And then they gave me a roast that had no fat in it. And then I had to buy pork chops. And I ended up cooking half the pork chops and I left a little behind. And then I found this, $1.99. And I'm like, okay, it's not like you need it. What would you do with it? Because you only need a little bit for what you want to do right now. But at $1.99 a pound, that's when you want to buy it. And you know you're going to be making hot dogs in the future. You know you're going to be making sausages in the future. And you know that you need some kind of fatty meat of some kind. You can mix pork and beef together. It doesn't matter as long as it's 20% fatty meat, or fat, to 80% meat, right? The only way you're going to get that is through something like this. And obviously pork is cheaper than beef. So I got that. But I got a whole bunch of beef in my fridge, which we're going to get into, because I have, that's the mission. That's the big chore for the day. I have to grind this meat, make patties, freeze it, do whatever I'm going to do, and then have enough to start making my lasagna. So I can get those noodles out of there. I was going to make a tray for my son, but he picked a freaking bone with me, and now I'm mad at him. Yeah. Anyway, that was $15.50. For what I need and for what I'm going to do with it, short and long term, it works out really good. Because now that I have that, oh yeah, I'll be making hot dogs probably within a month. And I won't have to buy anything unless, of course, I want to buy something fresh. Just because, right, in terms of beef or pork. But it would be more lean to combine with whatever I chop up and put in the freezer frozen. Or I can just grab something from the freezer, whether that freezer over there or the freezer downstairs, and just combine it with whatever I freeze here to make hot dogs or sausages or whatever. And then if I decide that it's not that hard to make sausages and hot dogs and or bologna or whatever, right? Then I would invest into a smoker, an electric smoker, right? But then I'd get into trouble because it takes up space. Because it'd have to be downstairs. It can't be outside. Somebody would steal it. Go figure. So when I'm down there sorting things out, I have to plan ahead and plan in my mind where I'm going to put this little smoker that's going to cost me about $400 so that I can teach my grandson how to make his own sausages, hot dogs, bologna, whatever he wants. And it's not infringing on anybody's situation, right? But it will be handy. And with that said, I would really like it if my son took the initiative to learn himself and help Andre with that process. But first I have to find a place to store it. Never mind that big-ass freaking sausage maker that's still sitting by my front door. So, of course, it was $6 to deliver. Yes. Right? What did they charge me here for $3? Oh, what is this? Something... Cara oranges. Did I get these oranges for $3.48? I don't know. See, these videos, they get too long, eh? I haven't even gotten into the meat yet. Well, I don't plan on doing much. I just plan on showing you basically what I'm going to be working with and how I'm going to do it, and then I'll just call it a day in terms of getting on with what I got to do. I see $3.48 here. So the grapefruit was, if I would have known that, I would have bought 2 of them, but I didn't know. Regular $6.99. I bought them again, the same oranges that I worked with when I did those ones that are in the freezer, and I liked them. They were good, you know, sweet, tasty. Very few seeds, right? But it looks like they charged me $3.48, but I didn't clue in that it was on sale. Whereas if I would have noticed that, I would have bought 2 of them. Because obviously there's more lemons than there are oranges, right? I would have definitely, I wasn't planning on using all these oranges. I was going to leave a couple out because, but ideally I should have bought 2 of these. And I'm not even going to attempt to add on to my order, even though they say you can add on after you've done what you've done, because that's what canceled out my order before, and it pissed me off, and I had to reorder. So, besides that point. Okay, so we got a deal on the oranges. Yeah, Cara navel oranges. Very good oranges. They were $3.48. Lemons were $7. The zucchini came in at $11.77 for 10 of them. And I didn't reorder. I wanted to, but they were gone. That's how fast they went. The pork was $15.50, right? And then the delivery was $6. So all that was $91. Well, it's not even all that. You see, that's the thing. That's the thing. But if you noticed, technically, I could afford to buy the salmon at a, I don't want to say exorbitant price, but I'd rather pay for it at $6 a can, get my PC points, which is kind of like a discount, than come back in a year or 2 from now and have to pay $8.99 a can. That's the way my brain works. I'll show you. This is what $91 gets you. And I realize that my son has a good job, has minimal expenses when it comes to household expenses, not when it comes to a student loan or car maintenance or gas or whatever else he's got on the outside of the house in terms of cheap rent, hydro included, and heat. Just saying. Right? So for him, I don't know. It doesn't seem to bother him, even though he acknowledges that food is getting ridiculous. So why he puts so much pressure on me for trying, in my mind, to do the right thing, you know, it's not like I don't plan on going down there and attempting to do something. It's just, I have to finish up here, and right, and then the rice buckets have to go down. There's a bucket over there. There's a few boxes of canned goods, and then once I'm down there, you know, I'll be down there for a couple, 2-3 weeks. I'll be getting on his nerves, right? He'll be, aren't you done yet? Hurry up, you know. That's not good enough, you know. You told me, right? You know, they fucking lied. I mean, I'll just get it from one to another to another to another, and then I don't want to go down, and I shut down, right? Because it's just too. All right, so let's not worry about that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, right? Okay, so. Hold on a minute. Oh, here we go. So the 10 zucchini, this is $92. $91. Where is it? $91.39. We know what we're doing with that. dehydrating it, adding it with the other ones that I have because I want to top off, right? I got about half the size of the jar, right? If I have a full jar, then I'm feeling good. I'm topping it off. I'll just bring in another jar and keep what I have in the jar that it's in. And then after that, I'm not going to worry about it, right? The grapefruit was on sale. How much was the grapefruit? I don't remember reading grapefruit. Oh, my nose is running, man. Yeah. Lemons, cara, red grapefruit. Farage. Fara. It was Fara. That's a good deal. And of course, I will save the rinds as well. And I will probably combine them, well, either with the oranges or the lemons. Alright? It's hard to say. But definitely cook them up at the same time. Now, I do plan on cooking the lemon peel separate. And I do plan on cooking the orange peel separate. Because obviously they have different tastes. But I don't know if I want to go as far as cooking up those separate. But I might. Either or. And then we got the 7 cans of the sockeye salmon. Red sockeye salmon. And we know I have a mission in mind. Now, I was going to buy 2 more of these, but I've got other ones around the house. Plus, they're selling them at $7 a pop at Canadian Superstore, where I feel if I go to T&T, which is an Asian store, I might be able to find them at $4 a pop. It's hard to say. I won't know until I get there. But we know basically why I'm buying that, right? Okay? That's basically what it's for. Or some specialty something. Okay? Then we got the Cara oranges, which I didn't realize were on sale. If I would have known, I would have bought 2 of them. Then we got the lemons, imperfect lemons, which were perfect for me, right? 4 pounds for $7, right? And then we got the meat for $15.50. That's it. That's cost $91. Now, yeah. Like, that's not very much money, people. I mean, I'm not money. That's not very much stuff for your money. Well, you didn't have to do that. Why are you buying sockeye salmon? You're a poor woman. What's the matter with you? You got nobody to blame but yourself. Yeah, but if you look at the freaking nutrients on the bloody thing, especially with the other can, I'm assuming, wait, seriously, I'm assuming that sockeye salmon is, sockeye salmon. Like, you know, one can is listing all these freaking nutrients. When I get it tomorrow, you'll see, I'll read it out to you, where this can, no, it's not. But sockeye salmon is sockeye salmon is sockeye salmon. So, the same nutrients should be in this can as in the other can. It's just they're not listing it here. Why is that? What do they got here? Potassium, 3%. Calcium, 13%. Iron, 2%. No, maybe because they can't fit it in. Or maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Because when you look on the website and you read, you know, you go to view product, and then you go into description and nutrients, right? You click in, and then I read all the time what the ingredients are, and then I look at the calorie count, obviously, and then I look to see what the nutrients are, right? And this brand lists hardly any nutrients compared to the other brand, which is a red sockeye salmon, same as this, that lists all this other stuff. But maybe it's not listed on here. I don't know. I'll find out tomorrow. So $92. So now, I'm just going to basically bring out the meat that's in my fridge. And we're going to start cutting up beef. And then we're going to go on to beef now. Beef, and there's like three pork center cuts that I was going to use to mix in with the beef for the patties, right? That's because I wanted the fat, because what they sold me didn't have a lot of fat. Wait until I show you. And what I wanted, I just couldn't get it. So I'm like, well, where can I get fat from? That's not too expensive. Well, I'll get it from pork, right? And I couldn't even get that, right? So I ended up getting 3 pork chops and 3 center cuts, knowing I could sliver off some fat and put that in with my beef to make whatever I'm trying to do here. Until I found this. And I'm like, okay, you're filling up your freaking deep freeze here. You're kind of defeating the purpose when it comes to making ice cream. But you also have in mind that you want to make hot dogs or sausages or both. So, you know, you might as well get it now. And chop it up, get it ready. And then when you go to grind it, you kind of want it half frozen before it goes through the grinder. And depending on what you're making, you have to grind it again and again and again. So, I love it. Just do it. Do it. Right? So I have everything I need now, including the meat. Because I know I've got frozen beef around the house in different freezers that I just don't want to deal with right now. When the time comes to make the hot dog, so I didn't feel like I was losing out. And I can take those center cuts and I can put them in a vacuum seal bag, and it's nothing to vacuum seal them, and just pop them into the fridge because they're already nicely cut and everything. And then on a day when, you know, I want to throw something in the oven, take them out, put them in your pan, right? Like this is how I used to make for the kids when my kids were young, right? Right? Sprinkle whatever seasoning, whatever, put potatoes around, carrots, you know, a few Brussels sprouts or whatever, add in some water with a bunch of soy sauce as for sauce and cook that. Oh my God. It's so good. Oh. Whereas this, I just need a few, you know, just a handful, just not a lot. I don't need a lot. I just need enough to add a little bit of fat in with that ground up beef because I'm making beef patties. I needed something for this lasagna. It all started with lasagna, people. That's it. Yeah. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, so I don't know if this camera's getting full. Probably. I should probably put it on my computer and come back. It's going to click out on me, or the battery's going to die. But besides that point, we're going to go into what's expensive, like really expensive now, right? In terms of meat. Right? It all started with, I wanted to make lasagna. Shush up! You hear me talking? We talked about that. Stop embarrassing yourself. It all started with wanting to make lasagna with old lasagna noodles. And I didn't want to use hamburger for 2 reasons. 1, I'm trying to avoid the pink slime. Well, 3 reasons, really. 2, I don't necessarily trust our food supply, considering what's happened to my daughters and their bodies. I'm just saying, people. I make no apologies, okay? The government can take responsibility for that conception. And 3, it's more nutritional to do it for yourself. I'm just saying. All right. So with that said, I had to buy beef to grind up. This is not what I ordered. They gave me a substitute because the one I ordered was supposed to be a little more fatty. But if you notice, there's no fat on there from what I could see. What is it? Beef outside round roast. $39 and 84 cents. But that will grind up really, really nice. I'm going to be grinding it all up. And of course, I'm still looking for fat. It doesn't look like I got any here either. If you can see that. What did I pay for this? $28 and 30 cents. So what is that? 30 and 40. Oh my God. $70, and I still don't have enough fat to make hamburger with. I'm just saying. I wanted a little more fatty hamburger. But at first, I ordered this from Walmart, thinking, I don't know what I was thinking. Because if you look at how much I paid for this, where's the price? How much I paid for this? $21.78. No, that's per keg. $19.65. When they brought this to me, I'm like, what the hell did I buy? Oh my God, that's from Walmart. I said, no. That's not going to be enough for what I need. There's no way. And I did buy some pork chops, which Andre and I, we already ate 3 of them. But that clearly is not enough meat for $20 freaking dollars. I don't even know what the hell that is. So I went then to the Canadian Superstore and I bought that. And then I bought that today. Got that delivered today. Okay, so as for the pork chops, now that I have this, I'm just going to put these first before I start cutting everything up into vacuum seal bags, and I'm going to vacuum seal this up fast, like now. Okay, and I'm going to throw them in the freezer, and because you can see there's a center cut because I'm looking for the fat, right? Right, there's the center cut right there. And this is a meal with the soy sauce. This is in the center. You put your carrots, your vegetables, your potatoes around. Then you take some water and you put some soy sauce in there. You mix it around and you pour it in the tray and then bake it in the oven. And boy, it's so good if you eat. And that's if you eat meat, right? Lucy doesn't, so. But other people do. So I'm going to freeze that because I've got this now. So all that looking for fat. And I finally got it. But this, when I got this, because I bought this, and that, I was going to combine the two, but when this came in, I'm like, holy shit, that's hardly in. Okay, so my, obviously, camera was full, right? So now I'm back. So I did the numbers here. So $19 for this little bitty piece of meat that wasn't nearly enough what I wanted. So it kind of forced me to go out and buy more. But when I bought that, I did buy the chicken, because it was on sale, and it was 3 pieces of chicken, right? Skinless, boneless, and 2 packs for, okay, it was supposed to be a deal, so I thought, okay, I'll do chicken McNuggets. I'll try and make it like something like that for the kids, right? My little grandkids. And then $15 for the pork chops, which Andre and I, we already ate 3 of them. And I vacuum sealed the center cut with 1 pork chop there with the center cut right there. So that was 6 pieces of meat for $15, and that was pork, obviously the cheaper meat. $40 for this roast, which I'm happy with in terms of the size. I wouldn't necessarily say the price, but in light of the sign of the times, you can't complain, right? All right, so we got that. And then, because I knew it wasn't going to be enough, and I went with the steak as well, hoping I'd get the fat, right? Either between the and even this was substituted with, I didn't get what I ordered, but they gave me this instead as a substitute. And maybe they even did that too, for all I know, right? And clearly you can see there's not enough fat in it to do what I want to do. In terms of like more of a medium lean ground beef. Because the more you grind it up, just beef with no fat, I'm telling you, it just tastes like beef. It doesn't taste like hamburger. You need some kind of fat in it, right? All right. So clearly, you know, that's why I bought this. But even then, there's not a lot of fat in there. So when I found that pork that I showed you for $1.99 a pound, which right now is in my fridge, because that will be the last thing I cut up, which was $15.50, which was a fair amount of meat with a fair amount of fat, that makes me extremely happy. So now we're at $137.50, to which I will be grinding up all this beef. That's going to be vacuum sealed. I'm going to grind up some pork. I'm going to chop up some pork. I might even chop up some of this and combine it with the pork so that when I'm ready to make the hot dogs or the sausages, I can just pull out the package and defrost it and then grind it and then go proceed to make what I want. Otherwise, here's the chicken McNuggets that I made. Now, when I made them, I did leave about that much. I cooked up in its own little tray in the oven to see what they tasted like. And then I did the 3 pork chops, right? And Andre really liked them. Kyrie gobbled them up, but he got his cold. I, myself, personally, weren't satisfied, but with my eyesight, I don't know how long this battery is going to last for because I'm running this camera hard right now. So when I turn this off, I'll plug it in, but I'm going to talk to you when I'm cutting up this meat, right? And so anyway, because I can't see very well, right? You know, I don't see colors, and I just, right? So when I'm cooking shit, I've been noticing that I'm overcooking it. And when I pulled it out, I could kind of see it was kind of overcooked, but it wasn't burned. So. But it needed to be less time, right? But it was still good. The only thing is, the chicken breast, I would have preferred it softer. Now, whether that would have been less cooking time, or perhaps grinding up the turkey breast and maybe putting in some breadcrumbs with it, with some egg, right? And then breading it. Grinding up the chicken breast in a larger grind, right? Andre, what did I say? In a larger grind. Adding in some breadcrumbs that I'd be breadcrumbing it on the outside with. Some egg. Making whatever. Then egging it. Then breading it. And then either cooking it or freezing it. Just to make it the inside softer versus a chunk of chicken that's chicken breast. Because honestly, I don't really like to eat chicken breast just as is. So for me, but the kids, they liked it. Anyway, it needs room for improvement, right? So, yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these are uncooked. So when they come out of the freezer, they're going to have to go into the oven, and you're going to have to cook them, but they're already pre-made. Now, I do not buy chicken McNuggets and chicken nuggets or chicken bites or any of that stuff. I just don't, right? I don't feel like I'm getting money for my, like, value for my money, because, you know, too many fillers. Whereas making it by yourself, like this, like that's straight up chicken breast. Serious, you're eating chicken, assuming it's real chicken and not fake chicken. I'm just saying, right? Because you know they're trying to bring in that fake food that's been grown in vats. So, you know, they say be careful when you're buying meat that has no bones and none of that, because for all you know, they could be fooling you and you think you're getting it, but in fact, that's not what it actually is. We can only assume that the food supply at this point is fairly responsible. I don't want to say safe, because they're coming in with all these freaking recalls, but responsible, right? In terms of the ingredients, and that's actually what it is when they say that it's chicken versus something that was grown in a vat. Like this is all, right? I would prefer the meat not to be solid, straight up chicken breast. I would prefer to have it, I don't mind if it's chicken breast, but it needs to be grounded up and made a little softer. And the one way you do that is grind it up, add some breadcrumbs with it to absorb the moisture, to hold the moisture in within the meat. And then it would be more juicier, right? Where these were more drier. But then I also overcooked it, because I can't see very well when it comes to color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to vacuum seal these, because I basically told TeaSha that I'm tired and I don't want to watch the kids for a while. She seems to think that I am grandma, because I asked her a while ago, I said, why do you, I guess maybe I said the word expect. Why do you expect me to watch the kids all the time? Right? She goes, well, because you're grandma. That's what grandmas do. And I'm like, oh, really? She goes, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. As if I do it because she has nobody else. Her sisters are dead. Right? If Shemaine was around and Sierra was healthy, they'd help her. right? So in that way, I do kind of feel obligated because I know she's losing out. Like, my kids got really damaged when their sisters died, people, let's face it. I mean, clearly they're still acting out even after all these years, and they're taking it out on me. Okay, it's not my fault though, you know, I suffer too, right? But when you start having death like that, you know, it changes people, you know. They become angry and they don't know that they're angry and they bury it, or they get numb. Some people turn to drugs and alcohol and other devices where, you know, my kids are trying to maintain and be responsible because, you know, I've been responsible. They grew up to learn to be responsible. And, you know, the life is with the world, with whatever's going on, is scaring everybody's pants off them and just the whole 9 yards, right? So, you know, even though I'm tired, and trust me, I'm tired, and they make a mess, I clean up the living room, I get it clean. It's just Andre, I, and Amari, and yeah, sure, Andre can make a little bit of a mess, but nothing like when the kids come. Oh my God, you don't even know. And, you know, like, I don't necessarily get a chance to go in there and clean up right away because I'm busy doing these things, so that shit just sits there. It gets on my nerves. I try not to get mad because, no, it was clean yesterday, but not anymore. You know, and then when they come, obviously sometimes the hours get long, right? And then, you know, because they're so young, their voices are high pitched. Right? And like, I raised 5 kids. I've been through so much shit with my kids. It's pathetic. You know, it's like whatever. And you know, they start squealing and they maybe bicker or whatever. And you know, my nerves are like this. But again, you know, who does she have? Unless she pays a babysitter. You know, she thinks babysitters are expensive because she wants to pay top dollar, not realizing that it's just babysitting, you know, right? But even when she pays top dollar, she can't always depend on people to babysit for her. So she looks to me, right? But, you know, like, it hurts my feelings what she's talking about, people. Like, it really does. You know what? I'm going to look after the kids for 2 years while you plot and scheme how to get the fuck out of Canada. And I'm going to go blinder and blinder, you know. I mean, clearly, Lucy knows I'm tired. I am tired, Lucy. I'm extremely tired. I don't even sleep good. Like, so anyway, you know, and like, I don't get enough help. I haven't had enough help for freaking years. And besides that point, you know, and then she's going to just up and leave me high dry. And then phone up Mark Kane to get the gossip, what happened to Mom. You know, to get the gossip. What happened? How's Mom? Tell me the gossip. And gossip. Because it's not like she's here to help me, that's for sure. And she's not only abandoning me, she's abandoning all of us, and especially Amari, people. And she said, well, Amari's not my responsibility, you know, Shmee. And I'm like, whatever, TeaSha. Like, sometimes she says just the cruelest things, you know, to me. Like, she doesn't realize it's cruel. She's trying to be firm, right? You know, and I understand that, but at the end of the day, man, like, but that's the generation, though, people, and that's what happens when your family is torn apart, you know, right? They shut down and they become self-centered or something. I don't know. So anyway, I just told her this morning. I phoned her at 9 this morning. I woke her up like a dream. I woke her up in the middle of her dream, and I just said, TeaSha, look, I'm tired. I don't want to watch the kids for a while. Right? I don't. I want to just work on doing what I have to do. And, you know, I want to clean up the living room. I want it to stay clean for a couple fucking weeks. At least a couple of weeks. Because, you know, I don't have a lot of space. It's small. So, you know, the crumbs are piling up and toys are scattered and just whatever. You know how it goes with little kids. And, you know, I want to get this stuff. I keep telling her I want to get this stuff done so I can do finger painting with them and do crafts and make muffins and just that kind of stuff. Fuck, I'm making them freaking chicken McNuggets, for crying out loud. You know, I'm making plans. I bought 25 cans of coconut cream to make specifically for Kyrie and everybody else, but Kyrie first, freaking coconut cream ice cream so that when we eat ice cream, he can eat ice cream too. I didn't care. I wouldn't do that shit, right? But for what? She's gonna be gone in 2 fucking years. Calling my son up for gossip. How's mom? Oh, well, she got worse. Oh, that's too bad. Tell me all about it. I want to know. Yeah, well, if you really wanted to fucking know, why did you leave? I'm like, shut up. Go away. Oh, I want to be free. I want to travel. I can't buy a house here. Yeah, well, you're just a fucking runner, man. You're running your whole damn life ever since you could walk. I've been putting up with it. You just got older and more brazen about it. But whatever. I wish you well. I wish you well. You know, it's not like I don't wish her well. It's just, doesn't she see that I'm dying? What's she gonna do when I actually die? Oh, poor mom died. I wasn't there for her. Damn rights you weren't there for me. You weren't there for me, you weren't there for Amari, and you sure in hell weren't there for Andre. You know? God forbid, if her kids treat her like she treats me. Oh no, my kids won't be like that. I'm like, yeah, okay. May is on a cell phone. She's too little to be on a cell phone. I tell this to TeaSha all the time. TeaSha didn't get a cell phone, access to the cell phone until she was like 15 years old, and it corrupted her, people. It corrupted all my kids, for crying out loud. I want to show you, and then I'm going to turn this off and finish it, right? Now, the reason I'm vacuum sealing it is to keep it nice so it, you know, the crumbs stay where they are, and I don't know when I'm going to use them, right? Plus, if I stack them, I can get more up in here because I don't have time to be digging around in no other freezer that's full right now. So, look at that. That's nice. I made that for Alea, May, Kyrie, Andre, and Amari gets one. Okay, I didn't make it for me, people. Fuck no. And this is what hurts me. You know, she's just gonna up and move. Way out of fucking Canada, of all places, yet. And she won't take on Amari because he requires work. He's work. You know? Gotta change his diaper, and she changed his diaper when she came in yesterday. I told her, change his diaper before you leave. And he was so happy to see her because he loves her, right? Oh man, he was kicking, and he's getting strong. And welcome to my world, TeaSha. She goes, oh my God, what's the matter with him? I said, well, first of all, he loves you. He's really, really happy to see you, and he wants to play. Everything is play with him. Everything's laughing, happy-go-lucky, right? And he's like moving, and she's trying to change him. And because, you know, he had pooed, right? With the peg, it kind of got runny, right? And she goes, ooh, and I'm like, yeah, well, you know, like, it is what it is, right? She doesn't want that. She wants the perfect world. She wants the perfect world with the perfect house with the perfect kids on the perfect fucking island. When she's bored, she'll call up her brother to find out how mom is. And then try and talk to me and tell me she loves me. Yeah, okay. I can't fucking deal with it. You want me to watch the kids because you think I'm grandma. I'm expected to watch the kids because I'm grandma. Because I said, why do you ask me to watch the kids all the time? Because you're grandma. I said, so? My mother didn't watch kids. Oh, your mother was bad. I told her, my mother never watched none of my kids, not until she died. She told me she wasn't going to watch them, and she didn't. And then she died. But TeaSha expects me to. And I said, why do you expect me to watch the kids all the time? Well, you're the grandma. That's what grandmas do. Okay, Well, the same thing could be said about her. Why do I expect you to help me with Amari when I can't do it, and maybe take an initiative to help me in my elderly years, considering my circumstances? And it's not like you're not going to get no help with Amari or with me, because you've got Andre, plus you've got Alea May and Kyrie coming up, so it's not like you're going to be doing it on your own. You know, why do you think that you're not obligated to do that? But I'm obligated to do what you want me to do. You see, that's the hypocrisy there, right? Don't care. I'm grandma. Grandmas are supposed to babysit on demand. Even though she's going to take them away from me in 2 years from now. So I just phoned her this morning. You know, I'm sorry, I don't feel very well. I don't want to watch the kids for a while. Oh, fine. And she hung up on me and I hung up on her. Like I told you, my dream told me, people. My dream told me. I'm telling you, it will be a point where I just won't be talking to her. Okay? Right? It will come to that. I'm not going to sit up there and tell you I love you as I'm dying in Canada. I don't want to say cussing you out, but basically, like, where the fuck are you, TeaSha? Mari's in foster care, being abused. Oh, he died in foster care. Oh, I wonder how that happened. Well, I don't know. It was in foster care. You'll never learn the fucking truth about what happened to him because you weren't there for him. So why even ask what happened to him as if you fucking care? Let's be real about it. Just saying. Just saying, people. I'm not crying though, right? I'm trying not to cry, right? I'm doing, you can see, okay? I'm holding down the fucking fort. Take this little box here. You see this little box? Do you see what's inside that little box? Do you see? They'll be like, what was Mom thinking? What's in that box? Why is she hoarding all these little boxes? Open it up, and there's like $150 worth of fucking canned salmon in it. Like, fuck you. Would they appreciate it? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, probably not. But TeaSha won't be here. She'll just ask for the money from my life insurance for her share. I don't know what she's going to do with it, because that money is supposed to help to house Amari. And like, if I was to die today, right now, okay, I have about, I don't know, maybe $37,000. My life insurance policy was $45,000, but I started borrowing money on it when I had to fight for Andre, and you know, to get him back when they took him. I was going to take the government to court, so like the Supreme Court, so I had to borrow money there. And you know, Uncle John disappeared, and you know, I got left with debt load, so I borrowed money there. So I've got about, out of $45,000, I probably still have maybe, because they charge me interest too, right? Minus 8 from 45, so what would that be? 37 or something like that? About $37,000, $36,000. And I made it where it's divided between TeaSha and Marcane to look after basically Amari and Andre for the year in this house, assuming that I die tomorrow. And they got stuck with the house and the bills and the kids, and you know, they need money, right? They need to be able to work it out. It's not simple. It's not, when somebody dies, it's not that fucking simple. You know, Mrs. Gill, she's not going to put up with it for very long. She's going to want her rent. At least the rent is covered. They don't have to worry about food. If they can make an income by selling the shit off that they don't want. And then they can figure out what they're going to do with the kids. Well, they'll obviously keep Andre because he's independent. But they'll fucking put Amari in a fucking foster care. And if TeaSha's not here, what? You don't need that money. That's for the kids. My son might attempt to take Amari, but I don't know how he plans on doing that because, you know, it's a commitment. But with a little bit of money there, it would give him some time to work it out and figure it out. and build in the safety nets with the social workers, because social workers would be involved, right? And then, yeah, maybe my son might be able to, but at the end of the day, there's no guarantees there.
May I ask what you're doing?
I'm vacuum sealing up these chicken McNuggets so they stay nice and fresh, they stay whole, they don't lose their breadcrumbs. And
Can
then
you leave some out for me to cook?
no, you already had some.
Like on tomorrow?
No,
Okay. Wanted to ask.
that's another day. I can order, next time I order something, I can order chicken and we can try new ones. This is for when the kids come. See, as fast as I make it, he wants to eat it. It's ridiculous. I'm trying to be a nice grandma. Oh, you want chicken McNuggets? That's okay. None, I got some. We'll put them in the oven and then we'll make some French fries. Oh, they'd be so happy, but just not right now. I need some time for myself so I can finish doing what I'm doing. Plus, I need time to wrap my head around that I'm just basically being used as free daycare while my daughter is turning her back on me and orphans because she doesn't feel responsible to her sisters, but she expects me to be responsible to her as a mother and a grandmother. That's what I mean by the cell phone fucking with people's heads. They lost something along the way. And it has nothing to do with reading and writing. But seriously. Straight up stupidity. Well, I was going to freeze these. Next time I do an order, I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to try to make them different. Because I'm not satisfied with these. And I won't buy ground chicken. I would prefer to ground my own chicken. So yeah, definitely buy, what is that called? Chicken breast, but maybe with some fat on it. Yeah, and then grind the fat right into it. That would be good, and then add in the breadcrumbs as well. That might produce a better product. But other than that, the breadcrumbs and everything, they're okay. That worked out pretty good. I just find them a little too breasty. I'm going to show you. I'm done now. And then I get into cutting the meat. And these breadcrumbs, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm exhausted. I don't sleep very well. But I see a light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to being done with this shit. Oh yeah, that's why I'm doing the fruit and and the freeze right now that I've got the freezer. It was a blessing in disguise that my freezer froze up and I get to start fresh. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so for 20 bucks, I don't buy chicken McNuggets, so I wouldn't know what's reasonable and what's not reasonable in terms of how many you get for 20 bucks. I just know that whatever you buy in the grocery store, I hate it when my hair locks into my freaking glasses. I just know that it's not as much chicken as if what I got here, that's for sure. Even though they say real chicken, yeah, it's real chicken, but what else is in it? Alright, so when I baked the first little batch, it was about that much down. Well, it was about that much. So we got, that first batch was this much, okay? And it looks like I got 4. So 4 of those for 20 bucks. breadcrumbs didn't really cost me anything. I'm talking breadcrumbs from 2012. Well, was that maybe 2015? I don't know. I just know that those Asian breadcrumbs are old, and the breadcrumbs, the brown ones, were just recent from bread from the house. All right. And then these breadcrumbs, because I'm going to be making burgers. I'm just going to pop them in with the burgers, because wherever those other breadcrumbs were that I used for the chicken in the bag, I'm just going to throw them in when I make the burgers, right? Because I like it because it absorbs the moisture and it just makes it more moist. But these I'm going to just pop off into a little bowl of some kind, you can see. And then when I'm making the burgers, after I grind the meat and the pork and start making the burgers, I've got some garlic here, you can see, right? And then I'm going to throw in those breadcrumbs. Right, I'm almost near the end, because that'll be the end of the video. I'm putting them in these little white round things that stack and pack. The stack and pack. Burger, 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 burger. I pulled out 15 of them, so at least make 15 burgers. And then have a little bit ground of whatever I need for the lasagna, and then leftover chopped up, I don't know, it's not a lot of beef, but it should be enough with the beef, with the pork, and freeze them, and then that will be for another day when I want to make hot dogs, bologna, or freaking sausages. And then if my neighbor comes and gives me more food from her freezer, oh my God. I ain't putting it in there. I don't have room. I have to can it. And then my son will be, "You told me you weren't going to can no more. What are you doing? I caught you in the act." I'll be, "Go take it up with Sandy. It's Sandy's fault. She gave it to me. What was I supposed to do? Feed it to Matilda the raccoon? Yeah, okay." Just saying. Okay, so now I do have a brand new grinder. Oh, I forgot the name of it. That I bought for chicken bones. Chicken bones. Any kind of bones. But of course it grinds meat. Because, you know, got to feed those cats. And if you're going to feed them bones, you want to grind them up raw. But whatever. I've been using this one for years. I really like it. I've never used this. But I think before I put this away, honestly, I'd like to keep it out on my counter, but I don't have any space, right? But I think before I put it away, remember I said I wanted to do some carrots and put them in bags and freeze them so that when we do these smoothies or whatever, you know, you just grab a bag and throw them in. So anyway, I think I'm going to, after this meat is done and all said and done, and then I'm back onto fruit and I guess carrots. We'll start with carrots. I want to try that and see how it does. But in the meantime, I use this. It's convenient. It's old, but it works really, really well. Do you want to get by?
You want me to buy my D-drop?
Sure. It works really, really well, and I don't have time to pull out a brand new grinder. So I'm going to use what I'm familiar with, and I think I put the blade in right. So I'm going to start with the beef. But I think before I start with the beef, to keep it easy, and then I'll throw those in there and see if it'll go through first. And then when they're out of on the other side, I'm just going to take them out and put them in a bowl. And then when I'm ready to use them, I'm cheating. Then it's already grounded up because I'm going to mix that in with my burger meat. So hold on. Okay, that worked out pretty good, I have to say. Look at that. If you wanted to can, you know, little jars of crushed garlic, That is the way to go. Like, seriously, I might consider that one day. And I think I might even have a recipe. Wouldn't be that hard to find it. Anyway, that worked out really well. I'm impressed. Yeah. Okay. Primo hamburger. You don't get much for your money. I'm going to leave this as is for a little roast. So Andre can learn how to cook a roast. Right? Because he wants to learn, right? So that I'm going to vacuum seal. Okay? I'm going to do that right now. And then I'm going to get the pork. But before I do that, I'm going to see if I can pack everything. And this was from Walmart. And look at the difference in color. Well, I guess maybe it's no difference. Either or. I had to change the bit on it. But hold on. Okay, so, you know, I'm looking at this, okay? Does it look like I got a lot of meat here? Now, mind you, this is heavy, but either or, like, it kind of makes you wonder what they put in hamburger. And I don't know, like, I can't see very well, people, so, but I've done this enough times to know things, okay? I don't know how else to say it. Alright, so anyway, we've got our little outside round roast that Andre's going to learn how to make a crock pot. Or, you know how you flour it. You flour it, you sear it with some oil in a frying pan first on all sides. Then you put it into a crock pot or onto a pot like a Dutch oven on the stove with a little bit of water, and you simmer for a long mess. Okay, that's what he's going to learn how to do with that. Right? Now, I paid $8.99 a pound for that roast, which was $40. And then for the steaks, I'm pretty sure it came in at the same price, $8.99 a pound. That was the cheapest I could find for beef. Or maybe, I don't know, I'd have to double check. Maybe one was $9.99. But either or, we'll just say both of them came in at $8.99 a pound. Now, I can't afford to buy from farmers. I'm just saying. I'd like to, but just for hamburger, starting off at $13 a pound. Well, I don't know. Anyway, maybe one day when I'm all done and everything and I want to splurge, I might do it. But for now I grounded this up. And I've grounded up this kind of stuff before. As I was touching it, honestly, I don't think it feels the same. But I can't see it. It doesn't, I wouldn't necessarily say it looks the same. Like, is it maybe just me? You know, I'm all paranoid with the food supply. I mean, they're selling you rotten fucking tomatoes. They're selling you rotten cucumbers. They're selling you half-rotten freaking zucchinis. You know, it's a hit and miss with the lettuce as to how long it will stay in the fridge. And so, potatoes don't last very long for the most part. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. You know, it's just like, it's too conspicuous. It's beyond a conspiracy theory in terms of, you know, the great grand agenda to control, what is that, propagation? To propagate, you know, to multiply, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Because I don't know. I mean, this meat is not the worst of the worst in terms of quality. It's fresh, right? But it just feels weird. Like it just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's weird or not. All I know is, if that's all I got for all that meat that you've seen between the 3 packets of meat, it kind of makes you wonder what they really put in hamburger. Because you can get a tray of hamburger, Now mind you, it's a glass bowl. You can get a tray of hamburger that's half this amount, right? Half this amount on a tray of hamburger. Well, I haven't bought that in like eons, but anywhere from, if I remember correctly, from regular, like not at a discount rate, but between $12 and we'll say $18. $12 and $18 for half that amount of what I ground it up. So if that's what you get for $18, half of, I mean like 30, wait a minute, 40, 30 is 70, 20 is 90. For $90, I didn't get very much in terms of beef. And if I can get 2 packs of hamburger in the amount of approximately that, for we'll just say $30, kind of makes you wonder what's in the hamburger, considering all things said. Now, mind you, when you cook it, it releases a lot of fat, where this is more meat. But I'd have to get into my old meats that I grounded up, which I do have. It's just they're in different freezers, and I'd have to go digging for them. Unthaw them, because I use the same grinder, and then feel them after they unthawed to see if they came out differently, because I don't know, this just seems, I don't know, mushy. I can't see it though, really, you know. I can see, but I can't. Not like the good old days, right? So everything is, my senses are like, bing, bing, right? You know, so I'm noticing I'm really starting to use my fingers more as a indicator as to what's going on in front of my eyes. Is this thing recording? Yeah. So I don't know, maybe it's just my imagination. Maybe I'm just paranoid. So anyway, now I'm going to put that in the fridge. I'm going to put this in the freezer. Take a break for a few minutes. Then I'm going to come with the pork. And I don't need it all grounded up. I only was going to add in a little bit. Does it smell like beef? I don't know. I still smell the garlic. A little aftertaste of the garlic. But I don't know. I'd have to cook it to really smell it. Because you have to remember, they put coloring in. And I mean, ideally, it would be nice if I could buy some meat from the farms out here, but I'm just not in that kind of position right now. Maybe next time. Maybe I'll attempt to really try and do that. I don't want it for canning. I'm done canning meat unless my neighbor gives me more, but I don't think she will because it's way too expensive. The last little piece that she gave me, I gave it to my son because I was dealing with all the other stuff and I felt like I was in a crisis with my fridge. But outside of that, like, you know, I'm not buying to can because I already did that. We got a video on that, more than one, right? And the only reason I'm doing this is because I didn't want to buy a hamburger. I was eating quote-unquote beef and nothing but beef with real beef fat, or at least pork fat with it, but a little bit of pork. I didn't want no pink slime. I didn't want, I don't know what they're selling, because I'd have to weigh this out. Like, literally, I feel like there's too much water in it or something. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the fridge, put that in the freezer, wash my hands, take a break. Start with the pork. I'm probably going to cut it in half. Half I'm going to cut into cubes, and then I'm going to vacuum seal them, and I'm going to save that half for hot dogs and sausages or whatever on another day, and I can always buy new beef for that, because this is pathetic in terms of my little containers that I've got over there to fill up to make hamburger patties. I don't know. I don't know how much, I don't know. Like, I almost feel like that in itself will fill up what I need. And I might have a little left over. So if I take out a handful and mix it in with pork, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll be back. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, that's a bone with a little bit of meat on it. I'm just going to vacuum seal that up, and Andre's going to learn how to make pea soup or something with it. Technically, it's better to have a ham bone, but we can make some kind of soup with it, right? And then this is a little bit of, right, with the rind. And then underneath is some pork. It's very small, you can see that, but for a small little roast with some potatoes around it and a carrot, 'cause again, Andre can learn how to do that. This is the rind from this. Chopped it up into pieces. I'm going to dry it. I'm going to freeze it singularly, and then I'm going to put them into bags. And then as I'm baking things in the oven, like chicken or whatever, or maybe I want to fry. This is fatty. I can put it in the frying pan, melt the fat, use something to fry in it, crisp up that. So that's what I'm going to do with that. After it's frozen, I'll just put it in a bag. And then we've got the pork, which I'm going to grind up, I suppose. So hold on. Okay, so I've dealt with all that meat. Andre is going to make a little pork roast. It's not very big, but it's enough to get him to learn something. Same thing with this little soup bone. Right. And then I got that. You get more for your money. Like if you wanted ground pork, you know you got pork, right? And that's a fair amount, actually. I wish I had more counter space because then I could weigh things as I go. Because I was just thinking as I was doing this, like when you make hot dogs and whatever, you know, everything's done by weight. And I know like one pack of the hot, you can do 1 pound, right? So 1 pound. You can go pound by pound by pound, right? Up to 25 pounds. There's enough stuff there to make up to 25 pounds worth of hot dogs. So, but I'm not, I'd like to be able to weigh it now. My scale is over there. Because I think what I'll do, maybe, I don't need all that with the beef to do what I want with the burgers, right? And then, of course, I've got the lasagna to do tomorrow. And then whatever's left over will be vacuum sealed, pork and beef together. And that will be used for either sausages or hot dogs at a later date. And it would make more sense, honestly, to weigh it out before I package it. So maybe I should do that. I'm getting tired though. Well, you know how it goes, right? Okay, so I attempted to weigh out a pound at a time here. I couldn't understand this one. But this one I got to work. Okay, so we got 2 pounds, pound of beef, 2 pounds of ground pork, okay? Ground beef, okay, alright. I'm almost done this video. I don't have room now for my ice cream thing. I got tomatoes in the freezer when I had my little grow room. I was thinking of maybe canning them up. I might. Because they ripened on the vine, right? Preferably you want that. So. And then that will give me, because I got that other fruit coming tomorrow. I'm just trying to set up a little system here. And the food that, like, you know, the few little pieces of meat that's in there now, Andre, that will be... Okay, Andre, you're making dinner. This is what you do. I'll tell him what to do. I'll supervise him. Give him time to work it out, right? The batches won't be that big, right? Because they're small. You're going to make a small little pot roast. Whether you do it on the stove, in the oven, or in a crock pot. Probably get them started in a crock pot. Okay, so now we've got 4 pounds at least to either do sausages or hot dogs at some point in the future, just for fun, right? We'll try it. I'll probably do 2 pounds at one time. Because if I remember correctly, you can go a pound at a time if you want. 2 at a time will be fine. And then, oh my Lord. This is what I'm going to mix up next, and this is how I'm going to end this video. After I mix this up with some breadcrumbs, we'll put that garlic in here. Yeah, might be a bit too much now. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I'll take half of it. Yeah. And then that other little bit, I'll use it tomorrow with the lasagna. With this, that's the beef. And just a tad bit of pork in there. I'm only going to make one tray because and I'm going to put and then I'm going in the fridge. And I'll deal with that tomorrow. I won't be able to use all these boxes, I don't think, but I can probably use, I might get 3 boxes out of here. That's just garlic. Okay, so I had breadcrumbs.
It smells good though.
Well, yeah, it's garlic.
That's all juice.
Okay, so here, put
Can I get
this.
more juice?
You're going to be cooking, eh?
Tomorrow?
Well, yeah, we got to cook that stuff tomorrow.
Okay, I'm just changing.
Here, go put this in the freezer somehow. Never mind, I'll do it. Okay, I'll be back, people. Hold on.
I gotta get back.
Okay, I'm getting bagged. You're hoarding things. Why do you hang on to stuff? Well, I don't know. Maybe because it makes sense when you need it. You ever stop to think about that? Okay. So you make your burger, and then, right. And then, yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. I used them when my kids were all around me. So I thought I'd give Andre a chance. Now, I used, I suppose, half of this garlic, but for what it's worth, I'm almost thinking of putting the rest in. I put it on top, and then I flipped over the bowl. I'm going to start mixing up, because, you know, it cooks and everything anyway, right? It's good. It's good for him, right? It's good for me. It's good for us. Good for Mari. I'll put a bunch of pepper in here. I put 3 eggs in this. I'm freezing these, right? This is something else I wanted to do, right? And then, if he likes it, well, I told him the roles need to reverse, Andre. I'm the one that needs to be on the couch watching Amari while you're in here doing this stuff, because honestly, I'm getting tired of it. It's too hard to see. And I'm kind of fed up with it all. I'm tired of it. So I'm just getting him, you know, I'm enticing him. He'll make his little roast and his little pork whatever, and he'll make some soup, and he'll fry up some burgers, and he'll get in with the smoothies, and it'd be kind of regulated, right? And then I can budget around it. Yeah, and just kind of like make it a replenish every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. 2 weeks on the fruit, probably. I'm not sure. But before I do everything by myself, he's gonna have to come and start doing some of it. And I'll, you know, I try and teach him about cleaning up after himself as he does things, but it goes in one ear and out the other sometimes. You know, don't cross-contaminate. You know, when you crack an egg, and right, you don't want to cross-contaminate, and just the whole 9 yards. So anyway, I'll be back. Hold on. Remember that breadcrumb mix? I'm going to add in some of that.
One to the other.
Okay, I'm done. Don't get very many patties here, but whatever. I suppose I could have added more breadcrumbs. Or I suppose I could have bought hamburger and maybe it would have been cheaper. Well, it would have been cheaper, but either or. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I have 14 of them. I'm thinking about Shmi. Yeah. You know, she worked so hard, people. She tried to do the right thing, you know. It's just a waste of a life. I've been completely traumatized by my government. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a setup, man. Freaking setup. From the very beginning. Life is just one big setup. Big freaking fat lie. That's pretty much how I feel about it these days. I told Andre I'm getting tired of this. In terms of, you know, why are you doing it? Well, I don't know. Why don't you tell me? Alright. Used to do this shit all the time. Tired of it though. So there you go. Now I put those in the fridge. I'm going to wash everything up. Andre can take out the garbage so the cats don't try and rip into it. And then I think what I'll do is I'll wait for the next order to come in tomorrow. I can't remember what time it's coming in. Or maybe I'll start with the next video. Because I paid $159, but I bought a lot of sockeye salmon. Right? I don't know what else I bought. Milk. 2 loaves of bread. And I think I bought frozen strawberries. Different brand. Because I don't like the brand I have. I'm trying it, right? And I did some avocado, some bananas, but I kind of shot myself in the foot here, people. My freezer's like almost full again. But we're on a schedule now, right? Like as soon as I'm little, then it will start being used because we've got, I don't know, some kind of drink coming. Smoothie drink of some kind, and then Andre can make dinner like not a grilled cheese sandwich, but like here's a piece of pork. What you gonna do with it? Why don't you go around and look for some cookbooks and see what you can do for a pork roast? You know, in terms of a crock pot or something. We'll see what he does. Okay, so I just finished cleaning up. Guess what time it is? 12:01 a.m. in the morning. I've been here all day. That's crazy. I'm thinking about that meat, people. You know, with the shady shit going on, with the messed up cans, with the vegetables rotting before you even get them in the fridge. Then they continue to rot, or they come sitting on your counter for not even 2 days and they're starting to rot. What the hell, right? You know, people talking about, I don't know, they tell you to go to the farms and buy the meat at the farms, right? But, you know, you're looking at $13 a pound just for a freaking hamburger. I'm just saying. Ground beef. Right? And then up $35 a pound. As if I can afford $35 a pound. So anyway, this is the size that I normally use. Can you see that? When I'm grinding meat, right? But I ended up having to use this one in all the years that I have used this machine, I'm telling you. Because it was just coming out like mush. You see, that's the thing. Andre, you heard me talking. You're only embarrassing yourself. We had this discussion before I told him earlier in the day. When you hear me talking, just stay quiet, because otherwise I'm always bellowing you out. Andre, Andre. That's why I'm saying you're only embarrassing yourself, because he just zones out, right? It's driving me nuts, man, okay? So, anyway, when I grind meat in the past, now I haven't done it for, well, I don't know, a year or two, maybe more than that, because I got it in the freezers already. I just don't want to go digging for it. Right? I know where there's a whole bunch, but I can't get to it right now. It's too complicated. You told me! Just saying. You're in my way! Hurry up! Shut up! Anyway. Normally when I was grinding meat, I'd use this size. And it came out grounded, not mushy. Today, I started with the beef. Well, first it was the garlic, then the beef, and you seen how much was there. And it was like coming out mushy to the point where, you know, like just like even the fat wasn't, like, it went through a little bit, but the meat itself was just mushing up. Mushy. So I changed it, because I'm not trying to make hot dogs yet, or bologna yet. Because if you make hot dogs or bologna, you grind it up, you grind it again, and you grind it, if you want, a third time to make it really, 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 really fine. Anyway, I ended up changing the bit. This was the only size I had. Look at the difference. And even then, when I started mixing shit up, it's mushy. It's not like it used to be, people. I've worked with a lot of meat in my time. Now, I have not. I read comments on prepper channels and just wherever, and, you know, I'm in the fray. You know, I appreciate what other people are going through in different states and different parts of Canada, and you know, the things that they're coming across, and you know, but I have not heard of anyone grinding meat and having problems with it being mushy. When you're grinding meat, it's not supposed to be mushy unless you've already grinded it once or twice. The first time around, no. That's why you grind it again. And then maybe a third time, to make it really, really, really fine if you're wanting to make hot dogs or bologna. Okay. Right? What kind of sausages am I going to get with mushy fucking meat? Whether it's pork or beef. I know that when pork comes in, I noticed it with Pastor Granny when she dropped off of this shit for me. I went to the bags. It was miscellaneous, this, that, because I wanted to render the pork fat and the beef fat. And anyway, I put an order in with her that, you know, if you get a donation and whatever, because it was just whatever. It was some outside where she lived, and I was willing to take it, but she said, no, just leave it. I'll come with fresh stuff. I said, okay, if you can do that, that'd be great, right? Because she was just donating it to wherever, right? And I told her I just wanted to render the fats. And she brought them, and I went to them, and I started going, and they were kind of frozen, right? Well, as a matter of fact, they were frozen. There was 2 bags, and I put them out on the porch, and I picked away at it as they were unthawing, and I was rendering. I mean, I did videos on it, right? But I'm telling you, this shit made me freaking vibrate, like as if I was, like, irradiated. Like, I went to it, started working with it, and then I started like this. I don't know what was wrong with it, but there was something. But I still used it, right? Because, you know, beggars can't be choosy, right? I thought maybe it was my imagination station. It wasn't. It was like something was going on. But then when I buy pork, like, I did a video, what, a month and a half ago? Whatever it was. I had the beef, I had the pork. I did the beef, nothing was running as soon as I touched the pork. Right? And then was working with the pork. My nose started to run and shit like that, right? It's like that radiating shit, right? Because I was dealing with different animal fats. I was dealing with beef fat, and I was dealing with pork fat, and then there was other pieces of meat in there, and I separated everything, canned some stuff, rendered the beef, rendered the pork as best as I could in terms of determining what was what, but yeah, when pork comes in and like big piece, well, that one wasn't so bad, what I had today, but then it kind of went mushy too. When I was grinding it, it didn't grind out the way it used to be. I can almost guarantee you, I can pull, but it would be such a chore to get to it. I'm not ready for that. You have to oil these things. Beef that I used, big difference in size. It was going into mush, and it's still mushed up. And then when I was going like this, blending up to make the burgers and shit, mushing up. Why? What's the matter with it? If I had to say why it did that, well, maybe it was already pre-ground. Maybe. Make a good story, right? And then they used their meat glue to glue it all back together to make it look like they made a fucking roast. Otherwise, why would it mush up? Too much water? I don't know. Nobody's talking about that yet. That's because most people don't go around grinding up meat all the time. Or maybe they buy better quality meat. That was just a round roast, so maybe that. But that other one for $19, that little stupid thing I had, I don't remember what that was. I just went with the cheaper $8.99 a pound. Anyway, just pointing it out. Let's see if people start talking over the next year about meat turning to mush after they grind it up. Wouldn't that be interesting? I wouldn't be surprised. The cans are denting. Everybody pretty much acknowledges that now. Vegetables are rotting. If they're not rotting in the store, they're rotting as they're being delivered to your house, or they're rotting within a couple of days of being in your house. Everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people are talking about that. Yeah. So, this is beyond a conspiracy, people. Too many coincidences. No. That's the one thing I learned in life in the last, there are no coincidences. There's a lot of bad people in the world, rich and poor, from all walks of life. So maybe, I don't know, I shouldn't have ran the garlic through the machine first because I couldn't smell it. The garlic kind of lingered. Right. And maybe it doesn't even smell like beef for all I know. It's too late now. Sure didn't react like beef though. So keep that in mind the next time you go off and buy beef. So I'm really going to end this video. I'm thinking I'm going to try this little machine with that. I've never used it. I've had this thing for years. I love it. I bought it at Value Village. I tell you, I felt like I struck gold with this little guy. Right? Anyway, it can shred things. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to try it. Some carrots. And instead of putting them in bags, I'm going to, it's just an idea, right? For somebody else maybe. I'm just going to shred the carrots finely, very fine, because there's different grades I can shred it in. So I'll try the different grades, but I'd like it very fine for the most part. I don't know how much juice will be extracted from that process, but I guess we'll find out. And then I'm going to fill up 2 ice cube trays, just 2, right? And then freeze it, and then put those carrot ice cubes in a container. That would work, right? If you can do lemons, ice, oranges, whatever, you can do carrot ice cubes. Yeah. So you see, I did all that with just that little bit of space. Drives me freaking nuts. Okay, so January 28th, 2024, the next day. This is what I bought. Or, how much did I pay? $149.66. So we got 3 bundles of bananas, but it looks like my freezer is filling up fast, and I don't know. Anyway, 3 bundles of bananas. I'm going to slice, freeze them singularly, and then try and put them in a container and get them in this freezer upstairs here, my fridge, right? I bought 2 bags of avocado. I will cut them. They're very hard, so I guess let them ripen for a couple of days. See, I think there's a couple of tricks you can do to ripen avocados, and then I'll de-seed them and peel off the peel, and dip them in lemon juice, and then freeze them singularly as well, and then put them side by side, maybe with the bananas, right, in a container. I'm solving one problem, and I'm creating another problem, because I have now no room for my ice cream maker. Anyway, then I bought a milk. Now I do have powder milk, whole powder milk, but it's just, I don't have time to be doing it. And we go through so much milk as you don't even know. Got some ginger. Another bag of carrots, because I have, and plus I give to the rabbits or whatever. But I'm going to use this little machine with that attachment that I've never used, and I'm going to shred it really fine, and then I'm going to fill up a couple of trays of ice cubes, like ice cube trays, with the juice and the pulp, whatever comes out, whatever I'm doing there, and then Andre can incorporate that into the drinks, or maybe me. I don't like smoothies. I don't like to drink my food, but I'll give it a shot. And then 2 bags of, this is a President Choice. I have 2 other little bags of a no-name that I didn't really like. They were on sale, but I think these were on sale too. But either or, I thought I'd try these ones, right? So I'm hoping these ones taste a little better. It advertised as sweet, so we'll see. So those got to go back in the freezer, and then eventually I'll put them with the other strawberries in their own container. 2 loaves of bread. Okay, that's what I bought, $149. And then, of course, the big ticket item is this. Now, keep in mind, I get 5,000 points for every $15 that I spent on these. So that gives me cash back on another order another day when I redeem my points. So that was kind of what enticed me. Otherwise, I'm looking at $5.99 a can. I tried to order them at Walmart for $4.99 a can, but they just don't have them, like several times. They advertise them, but they never have them. So I said, to hell with it, right? Now, this is my second run. I told you, right? You get to the point where you just don't. You pass it up. Unless it's a really, 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 really good deal. You don't even bother wasting your time. So my first time around, I got, what was it, 9 cans? Yeah. So 9 cans was the first time around, right? This is not a good box for it, but what I like to do is I like to pack them up into boxes, label my boxes, and now I'm running around stashing my boxes. Hold on a minute. So basically, I'm too tired to do anything. Oh yeah. I just did the zucchini because it was fresh, right? You seen that in the last video. Shredded it, cleaned it, shredded it. It's in the dehydrator. When I come into contact with more that's on sale, I'll do it one more time to top off a jar that I'm going to be working on, because that won't be nearly enough to fill up a jar, right? And then I should be good for quite a long time with that. Unless, of course, I start really getting into making bread. Now, for 2 loaves of bread, and these were on sale, was $6. And actually, Andre eats a fair amount of bread, and if I'm eating grilled cheese sandwiches, it goes pretty fast. So that's why we're going to get into bread making, right? That's what's going to happen. And then I'll be saving even more money. And not only will I be saving even more money, I'll be using whole wheat berries, which have even more nutrients right at the moment of blending up the berries and turning it into flour than, say, these things. Okay? I'm just saying. Now, for $149, I mean, like, even if I spend another, we'll just say $100, right, on the sockeye salmon to top off what I have, because I've got the 9 cans there. Wait a minute. That's not 9 cans. That's 7 cans. I lost a can. I think I lost some cans. Or maybe I just bought 7 cans. Yeah, okay, so 7 cans there. 7, 2, 4, 6, 12 cans there. So 7 plus 12. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. That's what, 19 cans? 19 cans of this brand. And then I paid full price, $5.99 per can for this can, only because on this can, where it lists its nutrients, now both are sockeyed salmon. Both are sockeyed salmon. Do you see that? Both are sockeyed salmon. So in terms of nutrients, it should be the same. But with this brand, Gold Seal, they only list 3. Where am I? Where's my finger? There. They only list 3. And I'm like, well, no, that doesn't make any sense. One sockeye doesn't have more nutrition than another sockeye. It's the sockeye that has more nutrition than the pink salmon. There's something like 5 or 6 different kinds of salmon, and sockeye is at the top of the list, okay? It has the best flavor, obviously it's red, and it tends to have a bit more nutrients than quote-unquote pink salmon, okay? And that's why I'm buying it. Plus, you know, it's a comfort food. You want to make sushi? Yeah, sure, you can make it with pink salmon, but here, try it with this can and see what you get, right? Okay, I'm just using that as an example. It's more for comfort food, people, than anything else. So that you don't feel so impoverished as things get harder and the economy gets worse and maybe more shortages with certain products within our grocery stores, or maybe even going into rationing and food lines and those kind of things. I'm just saying. Potassium, 2%. We're talking about Gold Seal here now, right? Calcium, 13%. Iron, 2%. Whereas this one, Cloverleaf, where I paid $1 more, well, it didn't get no optimum points, right? So I paid full price for the label. So what did they list here? Potassium, 4%. Calcium, 10%. So the calcium on this one, I don't know. Well, they got calcium here at 13%, and they got calcium here at 10%. So how is that from a different? Depends, I guess, on the bone mass of the fish, maybe, because that's the only place calcium's coming in is on the bones. And then we've got iron at 2%, and then we've got vitamin D, 60%. And selenium, 36%. They don't have it listed here, those last two ingredients. But I'm assuming it would have it, because they're both sockeye. That's what I'm thinking. But you know I'm on the hunt for this one. I'd like to stock up more on this one that definitely lists it. So I will definitely do, and I don't care what people say, because I know that stuff, providing that these cans are, they seem to be okay right now, but they buckle on their own. And you know what I'm saying? So it's a hit and miss, but it's better than that clam can that really does its thing, right? And I'm going to put those in a box, and I'm going to put them in my room where it's really, really cool. I'm hoping that the coolness of my room, for the most part, will prevent buckling, but who knows. So yeah, all that for $149. I'm definitely going to do the salmon again. Preferably this brand, only because it lists the ingredients that I'm more interested in. Although I do believe this brand has the same ingredients in terms of, you know, nutrition, right? Simply because it's listed as a sockeye. Like, come on. And after I do it one more time, 70 to $100, I'll be like, I don't need it. You know, unless of course they're selling at $3.99 a can, and I know I was paying $6 a can, and I had an extra 60, 80, or whatever it was, then yeah, I'd scoop up on them then. But it's not anything I'll be definitely going out of my way for. No. And that's just one thing less that I don't want or need. But I will definitely be incorporating it into the diet. And in light of, you know, how much things cost, because you don't get much, even if you were to break it up, like buy a little potato and, you know, buy a little piece of meat and, you know, get a carton of eggs and maybe a piece of cheese. That's how people are shopping. And their, you know, their food bill is very high. Where I'll go into a grocery store, and if, you know, if I see big blocks of cheese, right, on sale, I'll pick up like 6 or 8 of them and cut my losses with other things in the store, in terms of, you know, buying less with other things to compensate. So, you know, I have block cheese in my Auntie Shemai's fridge downstairs that I'm technically supposed to be dehydrating. I just haven't done it yet. And Andre, last time, he that's another thing, he wolfing down the cheese. He brought up a big block of cheese, you know, those big, thick, long ones, right? 4-inch or 3-inch by 3-inch, or they're like thick. They're like, you know, they're like a big square, right? And then they're long. I got them on sale, and he just wolfing it down. So, but I want to dehydrate some and have it in jars so that, you know, when we make macaroni. Now I did do the macaroni thing. I bought oh my God, something like 10 boxes of 12 macaroni packs. Now I seen some short somebody was showing where when they make that stuff, the macaroni itself, with their mixer dough things, they don't change them enough, and mold was growing and whatever and whatever, and well, anyway, you're boiling it, so I can't worry about it now. I bought 10 boxes with 12 boxes inside each box, and then I sat here for like 3 days and opened up the boxes, poured the macaroni into a little plastic bag, took out this cheese sauce, put it in there, you know, stacked everything up into this box, that container, this and that, and then you know, you solve one problem, and then I ran off into my room, and I had to, you know, because I created myself another problem because I had to put this shit away. But I'm good. So I got tons of macaroni in the house. Plus we'll be making our own. So if we use regular macaroni with no cheese sauce, because we're not using Kraft, that stuff, right? At that particular moment, because we're making, you know, a casserole or something, and I want to make it a little cheesy, right? And then you just bring out the grated, the powdered cheese that you make. That's what I'm going to do. So now, I guess tomorrow's lasagna. Andre asked me, are you going to make lasagna? I'm like, no, not today. I think I'm going to rest. I'm so tired. Right? Deal with it. I probably will fry up the beef and then just put the beef in the fridge and deal with it tomorrow. Put this stuff away. I have to find a different box for this sockeye. This box doesn't work. And, because I've got older ones around the house. So if I want sockeye, all I have to do is go in that cupboard or that cupboard over there, and I get those ones first before I'd eat these ones. I just want to have it on hand. Because there's just going to come a day where I won't be buying that stuff. I'll be buying, like, whatever I'm doing in the freezer. And once I give him the green light to go in there and, you know, show him how to, okay, here's the container, and I'll write on the container, bananas, avocado, you know, this container has strawberries, raspberries, this container has oranges, lemons, this container has blueberries, to which, again, I have a problem now because I've kind of filled up that freezer with that kind of stuff. So maybe I might have to go into my freezer in the playroom. Uncle John's room. That room used to be TeaSha's room first. Then Uncle John moved in. Then it became the playroom. So that's why we call it the playroom, because I just have shit in there for kids, basically, and some food and books, video cassettes, musical instruments, that kind of stuff. And maybe I should get into that freezer. Take out something to can, to make room for the ice cream containers. But then I have butter. I bought butter, right? And I got it on the side door, so if I took out the butter, and I'd still have to take out something from the playroom, because I'm not putting no more in Auntie Shemay's freezer, because as much as my son makes me angry, I told him I'd work on trying to clear that out so that he can have at least that little extra freezer, because he's been asking me for more freezer space, right? And I said, yeah, okay, well, I'll work on clearing out Auntie Shemay's freezer on top part of the fridge, so that at least you can have that. And then when I can get into my big freezer downstairs, where they're situated, then we can work on clearing out a little bit there at some point, because I've got, believe it or not, I've got Lucy. I've got frozen tomatoes in there from, God, 2014, 15, 16, 17, maybe. I'm not exactly too sure. But they've been there for a long time, and I can guarantee you they'll be fine. Just rinse them off. That's what. But you have to freeze them whole. Freeze them whole, and then just throw them in a bag. That's your best bet if you want to keep tomatoes around for any length of time. That's how I know that, because I have them downstairs and I keep going down. Well, not lately, but before I used to go down and let me see what these tomatoes. Oh, damn, they're still looking good. You know, I think I'm going to bring up a couple, right? But then my son moved in with his girlfriend, and I can't get to my freezer no more, so they're just sitting in a bag. As he's getting mad at me. Oh, go away. Okay. Alright, so we'll be back with a lasagna, and then I guess this will be the end of this little series.